like the music, the vibe behind. Let me open the chat. Where the chat? Hello, good morning, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. Buenos tardes, bon dia, buenos dias. Bonjour, bonsoir. Hello, 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 hello. How's everyone? How's everyone? Let's get the chat rolling. Let's wait for everyone to join the stream. How's everyone? How's everyone's doing today? Hello. Yeah, Billy, don't worry, Billy. You are more than you. I know on Wednesday we got a very bad communication and stuff, but today it's better. Today is gonna be a better day. It's fine. So, hello. Look at this. We've done a small update on the stream. Listen, we've heard your feedback. We've heard on the fact that, by the way, if we can put the banner on the right top side when we can, during the chats, producer, if you can work on it, would be nice. There we go. Hey, that was quick. Boom. So yeah, we did some small updates, but there will be more updates coming. But yeah, no. So it's gonna be So basically, we said that some people said that the streaming setup was not that clean. So basically, we've done some updates. So now it's way much better. Also, guys, I have a very good news. I have actually another very good news. We have a very good deal with Market AI. The boys said that we now have 20% for you guys by using the code CF. So we're gonna update this on the stream later on. But yeah, you guys have a good deal now. So you have a 20% on the Market AI. And yeah, so there will be some updates, but we will see this after. How was my weekend? My weekend was intense. I'm not gonna lie. My weekend was intense. So I'm glad that we are back to Monday, back to work, back to do stuff. But basically, let's say that I wanted to make my wife happy. So she said, yeah, we need to go to buy some, not grocery, but basically in Portugal, there is a place next to the stadium where every weekend it's a big marketplace. It's a big marketplace where you can buy clothing, you can buy some flowers, you can buy little toys and stuff. But the thing is, I have anxiety when there is a lot of people around me. Because I'm always someone is going to stab someone else. Bro, I'm coming from the hood, so I'm always a bit worried about my entourage or my surrounding, let's put it that way. So yeah. But yeah, now other than that, this weekend was busy as hell. So I'm pretty happy to be back to the office. I feel like I'm more happier when I am on my computer than when I'm outside. Listen, I said this this is the conversation I've been having recently. I need to go to see a barber because right now it's getting ridiculous. It's really so this week I'm going to see someone. So hopefully either on Wednesday you're going to see me as a new man, or next week you're going to see me as a new man. Wait, let me scroll up. Usman just said every Spanish word he knew. No. I know some Spanish word, but I'm not gonna say it on stream. Otherwise, I will get banned. You know the one. How do you say black in Spanish? Don't say it. Don't. I know I know it's coming to your mind. I know. If you want to say it, just whenever you have the feeling that you need to say this, just write it down on a paper. This is the way that I do. Honestly, you will see. Life will be better. Feeling like trading today. Yeah. Superstar, you are my friend. By the way, guys, that I have plenty of good news actually. Hamid, no. I'm gonna move my computer behind. I'm gonna be moving my computer behind because from today I'm gonna be recording content for Instagram, guys. So you're gonna see some content on Instagram very, very soon, which is quite a good news. So yeah, so we're gonna start to make content like this. You guys can start learning and enjoying the stream. Sam said before you join channel, you look like a beer. Yeah. Well, he's right actually. I do I have a picture on my computer? No, I don't have it. But when I was younger, I used to have like a long beard like until here, bro. Like here. A long beard. But yeah, no. What's what I mean, Baba? Nah, you can win, bro. No, I win the whole prime. Yeah, man. You will win the whole prime. Don't worry. See a girl barber. I used to see a girl barber, bro. Like she's actually Ree's barber. She's actually Ree's barber. And this is like, bro, she's like super, like she's the only one girl that I've allowed in my life to touch my hair. Because she's doing like such a good job. Honestly, she's doing like such a good job. Bias on NQ today. We're gonna see NQ today. Don't worry. I do have some ideas. Hola, Dominic. Are you wearing a French trench coat? Nah, so basically I got this gift from Apex. Look, it's clean. And today in Portugal is a bit cold. So I said like today I may wear it because it's actually quite cold. But yeah, it's actually quite sick. Honestly, like it's clean. It's very high quality. So I was quite happy. Clean for work today. Hey man, yeah, of course. Hello, Fanny Vissi. Okay, listen, we're gonna start the stream very soon because we're already late. So, producer, switch my screen, please. Switch my screen. Thank you very much, producer. Before we start, remember we will start the giveaway when we will have more than 100 likes on the video. So yeah, remember to put the like on the stream, and we're gonna have a giveaway after 100. I think we will have Hola Prime, Apex, and Trade Dealer today. Who is my favorite footballer? I would say it's very depend, bro. Like I'm a massive fan of PSG. So at PSG, Dembele, obviously, because we have almost the same name, Dembele. But during the World Cup, Mbappe was strong. And I've seen recent videos of Olise, which is honestly was a very disappointment, like doing some stuff with like girls and stuff. So I was a bit disappointed. So Olise was on my top one. When I saw the video, I was like, okay, Olise is literally the same guys as everyone else. So Mbappe right now is my Yamal. Fuck off, man. What are you talking about, Yamal? Yeah, what are you talking about, man? Like, well, Yamal, what are you talking about? Like, Yamal, the hell? What the hell are you? What the hell are you talking about? Oh no! Wait. Wait. Where are my institutional levels? Why I don't see my institutional levels? Where the hell are they? Nah, don't tell me they're all gone. Why? How I did this? No way. I need to do it again. Oh no. Do you guys remember about my institutional level? If you guys can share it like in the chat. I need my institutional level, please. I think I've deleted by mistake. Great. What a great start. What a great start. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's fine. It's okay. We're gonna do it without for now. But yeah, if you guys have the my institutional levels, I will take it. Let me see if I have screenshots somewhere quickly. Just give me 1 minute, even less than 1 minute. I don't have it here. Okay, well, it's fine. We will do without today. It's okay. We will do without today, and then we put it back after. Okay, so basically, we got a massive move on NAS. Pretty bullish. We got a massive move, pretty bullish on NAS due to the fact that Trump decided. Oh, by the way, we have a long position. I mean, at least for me and my friend Thomas, who is a multimillionaire in crypto. He took a small long in here for a quick scalp. So just for your information, I don't know if any of you are are into this trade right now. So I took it personally from so I believe it was this. Oh yeah, it was after taking. Yes, it was here. So my entry is here. 52, just here. Here, 52.7. So I have a small trade. I'm gonna keep this one for just a short period of time, not a crazy one. I'm trying to target at least this high, which is like an 8%. But I've put myself in break even already. I'm targeting this level. Okay, I'm targeting this level. This one. So, Usman, what are you thinking about crypto? My speech on crypto has been the same, guys. I've been saying the exact same thing, which is from October. And nobody is gonna tell you this, okay? Nobody is gonna tell you this because nobody have the amount of knowledge that I have in crypto. Because remember what I said? I literally said during October 2025, I've said, sell your crypto. I literally said in front of 100 people during an event during London Expo in London. I don't know if someone was there. I literally said in front of 100 people, literally, sell your cryptos. Look at where we are now. Right now, I'm going to keep the same speech. I have 25% of my portfolio on a buy position since we took this low. I am in profit. Great, amazing. I've closed a little bit, not too much. However, I am still looking to either we go slightly lower to this level, or if we go to the weekly, 4 hour, take all of this liquidity and see after what we do. However, I'm not talking about trading. I'm talking about investment. However, remember, I'm a stupid person. I am the best monkey ever. I am so stupid. Do not listen to me, okay? I'm not the greatest guy ever to give financial advice because remember, I have maybe 1 or 2 IQ left in my brain. But I'm going to start buying heavily from October, and it will take few months. And after few months, we will get a new high, and now we will be in a good shape, in a good position. That's it. Okay. Now, NQ. If we go to the 1 hour, okay, I'm happy of what I'm saying right now. Okay, if I go to the daily first, we can see that we have liquidity on top. Okay, we have liquidity on top, and I'm waiting to get at least all of this liquidity out at a certain point. However, I do need to see those things going out. Now, I have two options. It's either we take the long from this area, or we take the long after, which is actually pretty soon, from this level. I don't care about the news today, honestly. I don't think we have. Do we have news today? Let me see quickly. Damn, it's already 28. Damn, market open in 2 minutes. Fucking hell, it goes quick. So 70 PMI, I don't care. I really don't care about PMI today news. I really don't care at all. So that's the level I'm waiting. Actually, this one will be better. Let me see, half an hour. Yeah, this will be better. If we have a scalp today, that's the level I'm waiting. Okay. Otherwise, I'm not looking for any other trades. Otherwise, you guys know my politic on this. It's Monday. We're gonna go slow on Monday. Okay. The main goal of this stream today, it's either we can find something during the stream and we can find like a quick scalp, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, quick one and job done. Or we do our analysis for the week. We find all the best opportunities for the week. We get ready, we prepare everything, and from there we take a good trade. Fake Monday? Yeah, exactly. You guys know, like, Monday is a liquidity day for me. So let's see. Market is opening in 30 seconds. Let's go. Locked in, everyone. Locked in. It's Monday. Let's get it right. Ah, what a great coffee. Okay, boom, liquidity is popping, boom. So for now, it's normal that we are reacting to this. Oh, we haven't actually. Okay, so we're gonna go lower to this level for sure. So we may react from here. So let's see. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Boom. So that's fine. Go lower. That's okay. That's fine. Now the question is, boom. Okay, nice. And now we should go higher. Come on. Let's see some momentum to the top side now. So we're gonna give it like four more minutes and we see. Because if that place is solid, we should see like a kind of, we should see some rejection. Let's see. What's your guys' opinion on today? Just to get some views. Are you guys looking for longs? Are you guys looking for some share for some shorts? Let me see SP 500 just to see if there is any divergence. Yeah, so the NQ is dying. Okay, so that's fine. Wait a second. Wait a second. Where is my... Oh, let me put it back. I've drawn some lines now. Why I don't see them anymore? Okay. Okay. I'll just put it back for some reason. I don't know what's going on. Smash short long after spiking that red pull. If it don't, it is a downfall because of the semiconductor. Yeah, I mean, honestly, right now between... So the way that we should see stuff, there's two ways, okay? The first one is that if we check the oil, okay, oil, look at the gap between Friday and today, okay? We literally went from $86 to 78. So how this happened? Trump decided not to bomb Iran, blah blah blah. We know the drill. It will... Anyway, I don't give a fuck anymore about this because it's just annoying at this point. The VIX, if we check the VIX, look at the VIX, very low. VIX is very low. So it means that we are pretty good. Now, I was looking into some documents recently about the failure of give me a second, I need to scroll up, about what's going on the Korea, South Korea, yeah, South Korea, with what is happening in Japan. A lot of things are not looking good, and recently people have been selling their euros to buy more dollar. Good morning, Kim. Look at this, Kim. I got it today. Heat wave. Yeah. I got it today. Today is quite cold in Portugal, so I said now I can wear it because it's actually is quite good, good quality. So what I was saying, yes. So, oh, look at this. Perfect. Nice. You see? Amazing. Look this. I've told you guys, like, this is exactly what we want. Perfect. So that's perfect reaction. So now what we want is, where can we buy? Because we could either buy from the bottom, but I was going into a speech, so I've missed it. So now we're gonna see if we can have a retracement to this area. We do have a 5-minute FVG here. We should have, so we can have a small reaction from there. If we do have a small reaction, right, it's a bit bad. it's a bit like a bad news, okay? It's a bit of a bad news. So we're gonna take it with a pinch of salt a little bit, and see in here if we do have another opportunity. And from there, boom, stop loss at the bottom, and we go higher. But great reaction there, great reaction. And the most difficult part when we trade, guys, is where the market will react. This is the most difficult part, because at the end, whenever you have the direction, you know where the market will react. You know where to put your stop loss, where to enter. Easy. And TP, it's easy. TP, it's 1 hour FVG every time. No matter what, as a minimum, TP, 1 FVG, 1 hour FVG. So our 1 hour FVG is, well, today, maybe today is not that easy. But we have our 4 hour FVG on top. Look at this. Yeah. Amazing. Well, what a great reaction. Boom. Well. Wow, fuck you and Q then. Thank you. Wow. Well. Oh, wait. I saw. Yeah, wait. So those equals are out. Oh, nice. Okay, so we may have see a sell from there now. Oh yeah. Okay. So we're gonna see a sell from here. Okay, amazing. So we got this one out. Perfect. Boom. Center. Boom. Now we are gonna see the sell from here. Amazing. Nice reaction to this from this order block. Bearish. That doesn't mean that we're gonna go very low now. Okay, that doesn't mean that. What I mean, the thing that I want to see right now is after taking this liquidity, what we're gonna see. So that's gonna be the big question mark. Okay, so nice reaction. Boom, nice reaction. Boom. So now let's see how this is going to close. My question is, are we gonna react from this level? That's the question mark. Basically doing something like this. So let's see. Hey brother, do you remember you? Give me a second. I mean, I remember you, of course, because you're always on stream. But yeah. Japan, nice. Yeah. Hey brother, that was nice. How did you know the market was going to react from this level? How did I know that the market will react from here? So basically, if we go to the 4 hours as a starter, okay, let's go with 4 hours as a starter. We have this order block, which is not really an order block. I know it's not like a mega super clean order block. I know. So that's why I need to go to the 1 hour. From there, I need to understand, okay, what's the history of the price. So if I check from this level, right, we've created an FVG. Look, boom, we reacted from this FVG, we go higher. Nice. So now what I'm waiting is, okay, cool. We have this FVG that we've tapped into it in the past. And we have this as an FVG. So if I'm aligning those two FVGs, okay, and I'm creating like this gray box, we have like a very hot gray, like a gray that is a little bit more gray than usual. That's what I call the BPR. That's in here is the BPR. And this is how I've located my area to buy because of this previous FVG that is now turning into an inverse fair value gap aligned with another FVG that is now turning this into a BPR, and I'm expecting something from there. And I did say that there is 2 places I'm expecting to buy. I'm expecting to either buy from this level that we said or this level, which is honestly the swing potentially will come from this level. Right now, we are looking for some scalp opportunities. Okay, so now let's go to the 1 hour. We have 2 equals right now running, which is great. So we should go lower. And I think this, let's see how the market will react from here. The 15 minutes is quite interesting at the moment. Thoughts on making any trades? No, so Billy, so the way that I'm operating on Monday, and soon we're gonna have another, I have like some very good traders on my list, hopefully that will stream US session. They are carnage. I'm a baby next to them. And they're gonna be trading Monday because I usually don't trade on Monday. Mondays for me, it's mostly about scalping, or if I have something very great. Right now, I'm guiding you guys. I'm guiding you guys how to trade. Okay. Like, look at this. Perfect. Boom. Boom. Right now, I'm super in sync with the markets. Right now, the question mark is, what do we do? So if we align the FVG with the breaker block that is here, we may have a reaction from here. And if we have a reaction, we may go higher from this level. So I'm just waiting for one engulfing candle. One engulfing bullish candle would be nice, at least. Yeah, of course I remember you. Why you ask? Oh, I'm the same guy who told you. Yeah, yes, 1.4. Yeah, bro. Sparjan, I'm gonna tell you, you were right. When I saw Euro USD flying like a crazy bastard, I was like, oh, this guy on the stream, he was right. He was right. So well done, bro. Yeah, you prove me wrong. Well done, honestly. Listen, when someone in the community is totally right, we need to say it. Okay, we need to say it. I'm gutted. I was so pissed when I saw this. Like, my swing was going so well. I was happy. I lost nothing, boys, on this one, and I've closed majority in massive profit at 80-90%. Okay, same on gold. Like, you remember about this trade? I said 80-90% of the trade is already out. So I don't care if it goes higher. I just wanted to use FOMC and interest rate as a booster, but well, the booster went to the wrong side. Huh? The booster went to the other side. Well, but that's the thing that I love to do during FOMC and interest rates. Like, you guys, this is where I find my edge in here. Like, this is a system that I have. I love to do that every month. Sometimes it goes to my direction and it's great. Sometimes it doesn't go to my direction and it's fine. I didn't lost anything. The only thing that I've lost is a bit of fees on, because I was holding this trade for 1 or 2 days. Okay, boom. Here we go, guys. Amazing. 15 minutes close. Yeah, perfect. So we're looking to be a little bit more bullish. The question mark that I have now is, maybe we're not gonna target this level. We may have 2 TPs then. Like, those 3 levels could be more interesting. So let's see. Are you bullish? Okay, so let me wait. Let me just give me a second on this, because I really want to show you that is possible when you are in a good synchronization with the market. It is possible to see like all the legs. Okay, so we have 2 equals in here. So the market will go lower. Boom. Here we go. Now the question is, hold, yes or no? Yeah, but PMI is not something that I really care, bro. Honestly, I really don't care about PMI. PMI is not something that impacts that much of the way that I trade, of the trading style, or the volume. It happens maybe 1 time every 4 months or 3 months where we have like a PMI that can move the market, but other than that, not really. Okay, so we tapped into this BPR. So hopefully now we should be able to see like a beautiful engulfing and go higher. If not, we have a second plan, which is this one. So let's see. Guys, by the way, for the giveaway, remember we need to have like 100 likes on the. You guys, listen. We make good deals. Okay, we don't ask you to pay anything. You guys have nothing to pay actually at the end. Okay, all we ask is if you guys like the video, like the stream, put a like, and from there we can do the giveaways. Otherwise, no giveaways. No. Boom! And now we're gonna go way much higher. Boom! Oh, like something like this can be interesting. I'm not taking this trade, by the way, but just to illustrate what I'm saying. And after that, when you take the trade, all what you're gonna do is checking how the 5 minute will look like. Because if we check this 5 minute, it doesn't look good for now. Because we still have 2 more minutes. So for now, no great. No. But 1 minute, very great. Yeah. Look, perfect. So if we close like this, that's I'm telling you, it's perfect. If we close like this is bad. But it should be fine. We still have 1 minute, so let's wait. However, we did add some liquidity now on top. Look at those 2 equals. Very clean. So we left some liquidity on top now. Let's run the docs. Are you sure, Anas? I don't think, Anas, huh? We have 50 likes. I don't think, bro. I don't think for now. Okay. Gold. Because I know you guys ask for gold. So let me see gold. Okay, gold, we have the institutional levels, which is great. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the daily. Ooh, daily is bearish. Very bearish. Ooh, weekly is bearish too. Daily. Okay, 4 hours. Bearish. And if, oh, liquidity at the bottom. And we have a 4 hour in here. We have a 4 hour FVG reacted nicely. Now we are looking to go lower to this level. Right now we are reacting from taking this liquidity, but that doesn't mean that there is an opportunity. Okay, so we just do the liquidity, doesn't mean that there is an opportunity. So I'm just waiting for at least to go lower because we have some equals running. Those damn flies are crazy. Give me a second. You guys know the drill. Every week it's the same music. I need to take this and destroy their face. Okay, 2 dead. Give it a time. 2 dead. I can smell the death around me. And that's a smell of victory. Oh yeah. 5 minutes is not looking that bullish. Okay. So this trade is going to be very slow. Because now the next candle is going to be the half an hour. So let's wait and see. Right now I have no clue. Right now, I have no clue of where we're going because I have liquidity on both sides. I have liquidity on top and I have this trend line of liquidity, which is reinforce the internal leg liquidity in here. So right now, I have no clue anymore. I don't know if we're going to go higher or lower. So right now, it's more about just waiting. So I'm gonna put 1 alert here and see what we're gonna do next. And by the way, the fact that I personally don't know doesn't mean that I'm a shit trader. Okay, be careful on this. It doesn't mean that I am a shit trader. It means that I have boundaries. I have a system that allow me to find trades based on liquidity. If I have liquidity on both sides, it doesn't mean I'm a shit trader. It just means that, hey, we are in a very tricky situation. Maybe wait until one liquidity, we are reinforcing liquidity on top. So now we have a little bit more. Just maybe wait that something is coming to you rather than forcing something to come to you. Okay? But we are reinforcing liquidity on top in here, which is great. Yeah, so gold, yeah, I'm still looking to for short. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not looking for any buy right now. Usman Bhai, there is news in 10 minutes. I know. Why everyone is telling me that there is news in 10 minutes? I know. This news is not going like, let's see together. But I don't think this news is going to be like a massive thing. Oh, there you go. Boom. Pushed. Took the liquidity out. Amazing. Now, if you do an engulfing, it means that we potentially can go to this level. From there, if we have like an engulfing, we close like below this level. Boom, we can go here. And after that, from there, I don't know what we're gonna do. And but my intuition is telling me that we're gonna do this. Let's see. Ah, coffee is so amazing. What you guys saying? Truth, we're gonna, bro. How do you wait? What, bro? How to your strategy? Ask again, please. 5 minutes. Super bullish. Nice. Ask us. So some props don't allow trading around the news. That's why some people might mention news so they don't breach rules. Oh, okay. I see. Okay, amazing. Boom. Perfect. Look at these boys. Perfect. Boom. So now, amazing. So we've said, because I want to make sure that we are not missing anything. So we've said bullish from this level. We've said bullish from this level, because I want to show you that it is possible to see each legs. So we've said about the reaction here. We've said about the reaction here. We've said about the reaction here. The question now is, where can we see a potential reaction, the next reaction? Okay, where can we see the potential next reaction? And right now, I don't see anything that is clean until at least this level. 1 minute. We do have a small FVG in here, but I don't think this is going to hold. So at least, I think now the next step is at least to go to this level. So the question now is about, where do we buy again? And I don't know. I don't know. We're gonna see. We're gonna wait. Adel King, what's a nice stream? Yeah, man. What's up, man? Good to see you here, bro. Perfect. The goal, like, I want you guys to understand one thing, okay? There is plenty, and it's annoying because I will say some stuff to you guys. Okay, you're gonna listen and you're gonna forget about it, or you're not gonna put any weight on what I'm gonna say. But the goal right now was for me to show you that we can identify each legs. If it's possible on my side, large possible on your side. I used to be extremely stupid, so literally that's for you a reason of being obsessed with the charts. Because when you're obsessed with the charts, that's the thing that makes you the most excited. Yes, money wise, when you're used to make some good money, at the end of the day, it's just a day in, it's just the day, one day at work. Okay, it's business as usual. But when you start understanding moves, when you start that you are outsmarting people outside, when you start to see that some influencers have 100k followers, 50k followers, I have less than 10k, so 10k followers, even more than 5k because I have less than 5k followers, and I'm doing those kind of things, it makes me feel more intelligent. My ego get boosted. And if you guys think that ego is not something that is not important in trading, how can you be so sure about your next setup? How can you be so sure that a reaction will come from here, from here, from here? How can you silence your questions in your head? How can you just stream in front of 100 people and calling all of those moves with so much certainty? With this certainty, this is how you get better in trading. This is how you develop your third or sixth eyes, your third eyes. This is where you build confidence. Yes, you have data. Obviously, I will be the first one to say data is number one. The thing is, as I'm not the guy that will bring dopamine into this stream, and I truly care about you and your success. What I'm saying right now is boring as fuck. It will go to this ear and go to another one because there is no dopamine attached to it. Yes, I could be trading. I could take a trade right now and be like, wow, we have more than a 2,000 £2,000 in profit. Wow, it's crazy. And we can make the dopamine super high to everyone in here. However, is this going to be productive for you, for your success? No. I will look like a clown. And I said to you last week, I'm done being a clown in the stream. I truly care about your success. It starts from there, giving you the best advice as possible. So understand, whenever you get obsessed by understanding each legs, and you want to prove to the people around you that you are smarter than them, and now it is time to take you seriously, that where it makes all the difference. So now take this as you want. But that's, for me, it's a win stream today. It's a very good win stream today. So now, we said long. We said this. It's normal. We are reacting to this level. Actually, we reacted to this level, which is... Oh, okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. We have... I mean, it doesn't make that much of sense. But it makes sense, but it doesn't make that much sense. Okay, so that's fine. News is out, which is I truly doesn't care. So now we go to the 5 minutes. 5 minutes, we have a beautiful momentum right now going on. So it's either we react back from this level, or the momentum is so strong that we can react from there directly. Right now we have 2 equals, so it means that we're gonna go lower. That's for sure. The question mark is, do we now react from now, boom, or here? So that's gonna be the 2 main places. So let's see. But like, again, to know, like to be a little bit more, to know a little bit more, we want to see a reaction, like a rejection and engulfing candle in 1 minute. And from there, we will be like in a better shape. Yeah, that's why I follow you, Spots. Yeah, man, thanks, appreciate, bro. But Spot, again, great job on your USD. You proved me wrong on this one, girl. Well done. Samuel, what bro was saying? Samuel, hey Usman, how are you? I was not there this week, but coming back tomorrow with force. Yes, I know you're in holiday, I believe. I think you're off, right? Oh yeah, I think you're off, bro. No? Yeah, Samuel. Well, I mean, we've been smashing it for now. Like, look at this, beautiful. We've been smashing it from this, basically. Yeah, we've called all of those legs, and I'm still looking for longs. Wait, actually, wait. Yeah, so we got the closure of the 4 hours, and god damn it, I don't like it. I don't like this 4 hours close. I don't like, guys. I really don't like. It feels like it's very bullish. But what I see is liquidity. So I think we're going to go lower. I think we're going to go lower from now. Yeah, from now we're gonna go lower. I think we're gonna go. I think this level will be a good one, and from there we will be able to buy again, because the amount of liquidity that now we are stacking. Let's see, but I think we're gonna go lower. But I mean, to be honest, this is the last area. It's either we hold this level strong, okay, and we go now, or we don't and we get this low, and now from there we can buy again, and now we will be in a good shape. Yeah, I'm off again this week, but I will trade. I was in camping this weekend. Nice. I just saw that gold is very trading right now. Yeah, I know. I think I'm still a bit short on gold. I don't think I'm gonna buy right now on gold. I'm gonna wait a little bit, slightly a little bit more. Wait, so Adil said choppy on US30, and you what you said? What did you said? Spice, let me see. Oh my goodness. Mama Maria. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my Lord. Very bullish indeed. Wait. Do I see what I see right now? Yeah, I do see what I see, what you guys see. And tell me what you guys see that I see, that we all see, that is happening right now. Tell me what you guys see, that I see, that we all see, that can be happening if we see it correctly. Yeah, that doesn't look good. Isn't it? Some divergence, yeah. I'm confused. Brother, don't worry. I got you. Equal highs. So what I see, that you guys see, I mean, some of you see, and that I see, is we're having a divergence between NAS and SP500, which means that the big sell is coming soon. This level may be retested, which honestly will be nice. Yeah, this will be a very good buy actually. Let me put an alert, because this will be a place that I will be looking for it. Oh my goodness, I don't speak. I mean, I speak in Urdu, but I don't understand right now. Mohammed the equal has, I'm confused. Okay, so basically, sleeping dolphin, there is a theory that is actually quite good, which is divergence between SP and NAS. Okay, so right now you see we are making a new high on SP 500. If you go to NAS, we haven't made a new high. So there it means that sometimes there is a divergence and the market will lose momentum, and it means that the market will go lower. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Which is actually a good news for us, because I don't have anything to short from this area. I do have a place to buy from this area. So if, let's say, the market want to short from there, fine. We can buy from this area, which is actually very good for me. I don't know for you, but at least for me, it is very good. So we're going to monitor this after. Right now, it looks good for a long right now. You see, like, it looks good for a long. We are holding this FVG. Perfect. Cool. Let's see how that goes. By the way, remember, we do the giveaways whenever we have more than 100 likes on the stream. Huh? We have 64. We have 40 more. 40 more. And we are good. Okay, so someone said DXY. DXY. So DXY. So the DXY, I'm still bullish. I mean, people can say whatever they want to say. Like, it's not my business. Like, beautiful Wyckoff, blah blah blah, amazing. We have those two equals on top, blah blah blah. That's amazing. The question is, where do we buy? Okay, where do we buy? And if I double click, we can see that there is a divergence. Remember how we speak about those divergence with the RSI. If we have a divergence with the RSI, it means that we need to look at something in the left that justify the manipulation of the market. Like, because if we have a divergence on the RSI, it means that we're overbuying or overselling. So the question is, what do we overbuy? What do we oversell? Okay, like, what are we trying to trigger? Right now, there is nothing to trigger in here for me, at least. Nothing that is clean. I'm going to try in 1 hour, but nothing that is clean on my side again. So I'm still looking for maybe one more push to the downside, because there is a little bit more FVG. We take this lower liquidity, but overall, I am bullish. I am bullish until we take those highs. Until we haven't took those highs, I am still bullish. And the great thing right now is that we've took one liquidity, two liquidities on Mondays. So big buys coming soon. Right now, it's all about just waiting. It's a waiting game. We are paid to wait, guys. Okay, remember, we are not paid to take trades all the time. We are paid to wait at the same time. So we're waiting. Okay, we're waiting. So NAS at the moment looks great. Oh, there is rain outside. I'm gonna do this because I want to make sure that people understand. So basically, this from this level Okay, wait. The question is, my entry will be here for sure. Stop loss below. Yeah. So at least this level. But I'm still looking for this one because I think we're gonna revisit this place at a certain point. But yeah, there is nothing in here. Nothing. I have one question. What is the main thing that tells you we have a switch in the bias? Oh, that's a very good question. That's a very good question. I have a question. What the main thing that tells you we have a switch in the bias? That's a very good question because you can't backtest this, sadly. You can't backtest it. It's something that you can know only if you're active on charts. I mean, you can backtest it, but it's not gonna be, at least for me, I don't think it's like way efficient. So how do you shift bias? So if, let's say, you are on a momentum downside, like a downside momentum, okay? Downside momentum, boom, amazing, cool. So in here, it means that we are looking for some sell position because the momentum is bearish. Cool. But at a certain point, the market is starting to do that. And now you are like, I'm fucked. I'm lost. I don't know what to do anymore. I am lost. Okay, what to do? What to do? What to do today? I can do this Indian accent. I can do that. Okay, you see my skin color? You guys can't do it. I can. Okay, you guys can't. I can. Okay. So what to do today? What to do? So what we do is, let's say that we have an FVG on a daily basis. Okay, we have an FVG on a daily basis that is located on this area. Let's say it's a BPR. Let's say it's a BPR because it's stronger. The question that you need to ask to yourself is, what's the momentum do you have here? Because when strong orders are getting activated, you're gonna see a market doing this, poof. And this is where you know potentially that there is a shift of bias, but this is the early stage. On top, what you want to do on top is, do you have a divergence on the RSI? So if, let's say that the market is doing this and now you are into the 15 minutes and on the 15 minutes is doing this, you know that you have a divergence in the 15 or even in the half an hour that is confirmed. Another layout of confirmation that a bias is changing right now, but you are still on the early stage. You still don't know 100% that we are now changing bias. You are in this early stage. Now, next stage will be, okay, cool. 15 looks bullish. Half an hour start to look bullish. 1 hour looks bullish. 4 hours looks bullish. Now, slowly, you start to understand that now the bias is changing. And the last stage is how the daily looks like. Because when the daily looks like a bullish engulfing candle, a bullish rejection, this is where now you know that the bias has been changed. And now, let's say bias is changing on Tuesday. There is a high probability that on Wednesday, we may go higher and we may go bullish again. And now, if you know that on Wednesday, you're bullish and it's super bullish, Thursday, we may go bullish again. And now it's confirmed that the bias has been changed 100%. So that's why there is 3 stages for me from the early stage where you want to see momentum, displacement, you want to see aggressivity move. Whenever this is coming, question mark. Bias is changing, yes or no? You're going to be stage 2, looking for confirmation in the 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 4 hours. Cool. Last stage, how the daily looks like. Now, if all the stars are aligned, the fractality, the fractal side of the chart is all aligned. Now you know that the bias has been changed. Does that make sense to everyone? Does this make sense? The last few things I was using is the lower time and so I would wait too long to see the trade. It would have quite, but so the way, Samuel, the way that you can handle not waiting that much is just through one micro. Through 1 micro, just through it, 1 micro. What do you have to lose? $50. It's fine. Through it. It's fine. It's nothing. On a 100K account, $50 is nothing. But you will see. And also, the bias will change when you tap into a daily FVG or a 4 hours FVG or a 1 hour FVG. Like, for example, why did we have like a change of state? No, let's put it that way. Let's put it that way in here. Why did we have a change of state in here? Okay, go to daily. Or I think it was weekly. Yeah, weekly. Look at this. Now it makes sense. FVG here, boom. That's why we got a change of state. That's why I'm saying that this will be my TP on top, because from there, potentially we may go lower. Look at what happened in here. Change of state on a daily. Boom. We tap, boom, big shorts. Now if you want to understand and try to be like as soon as possible, and that's why I say I don't believe being a scalper. I'm not a scalper. I'm not a day trader. I just take trades whenever the trade is coming, and I will do accordingly. But if we go now on the 15, look at the momentum. So first one, we don't really know. You see, but the momentum is slowing and going there. But look at this. That's for me the key part. We take liquidity, big momentum to the top side, big. Look at this, big. So in here we are like, we're gonna go bullish. We know we're gonna make a new high. But look at here, we are not able to go higher. We're going back down again. What happened is that now look at this. The change of state is here, literally. FVG, another FVG, we have BPR. Look at this. Market is reacting from there. That's for me the perfect single place for me to have a change of statement that now we are now bearish. And look at what happened. Look at the volume. The volume is totally different. Compare this volume to this one. That's why I'm saying that's something is difficult to backtest, because you need to see at the moment how the volume, the momentum is reacting. Because when you see that, you're supposed to create a new high. But the question that you need to ask is, why are we not making a new high? Wait, why are we going back down? And when we're going back to this BPR and we have like a small engulfing candle following with a high volume, maybe this is the time now that we take the daily FVG a little more seriously. And there is a good RCC also. Yes. And one last bit, and after this we can close this chapter, is like I said to you, check the RSI. Look at this divergence. Boom. Manipulation, then overbuying. We're overbuying right now. Why are we overbuying it? Why? Tell you why. Ask you yourself, why are we overbuying? There is something. There must be something that people want to throw trillions in the market. Must be something somewhere in here. Nothing in 1 hour. Must be something. Let me find. Nothing in 4 hours. Must be something. And when you see that we have a daily FVG, there is something. So if we can't find, there will be somewhere. There will be an answer somewhere. Oh, poof. 15 minutes. I got it. Here. Look at this. Into this daily FVG, which is the entire blue mark, we have no FVG. No, nothing. Look, we have one in here already tapped. No FVG. Up. We have one in here. Now you have your reason of why the market is overbuying over. Boom. Here we go. And now, poof. Here we go. Oh, lol. Look. I'm not creating this. I'm not guessing those levels. It makes sense. You see? Does this make sense to you? And this is where, and look at it, look at this chat. Look at this. And I'm glad that I went into a tunnel, because we've lost viewers. And I actually don't care anymore. Like, I don't care about viewers anymore. I care is my own fun. Do I am having fun, and do I feel like I'm being useful to the team, to the community, to the people watching the stream? What I just give it to you is one of the best advice. Like, it's golden. It's golden. Like, try this, learn, backtest, watch the video again, watch the stream again, backtest it, do your own analysis, do your own research, understand. You will see this will massively improve your strategy. But people doesn't care about that. What people want is quick money. That's why they're on the stream. I've been there. I know that. And that's what they make views. But in the long term, you will go to square one again, because you will never gonna be able to do it by yourself. And that's, my friend, it's poopy. It's poopy. It's poopy. Look at this. Beautiful. It's a beautiful trade. Beautiful trade. The one that will be here, will be here for good reasons. Exactly, Samuel. Exactly. I'm going to a stage right now, recently in life, where I am a bit tired of people who are not trying or giving their maximum. Because if I'm giving 100, I'm expecting people to give 100. So I'm done with the stage of being kind with everyone. If you guys are here for signals, you're never gonna make it. And I will say, just go back to a place of happiness in your professional work. It can be 9 to 5, it can be drop shipping, it can be AI content, it can be whatever you want to do. It is menopause. That's a good one. Menopause. Nah, bro, it's energy is it's S&P just grab topside liquidity, looking to maybe go into a short. Let's check daily first. I don't think so. I think we're gonna go higher. The amount of liquidity that we have on top, that's a very good grab of liquidity. Boom. Yeah, I think we're gonna go higher, which is slowly something needs to happen is now on NAS. Yeah. So if let's say you're into this trade, congratulations. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4. I will be careful now. Now I will be a little bit more careful. This level is very dangerous. Doesn't mean that you need to close your trade, by the way. You guys need to breathe. Just relax, okay? Just relax. My point behind is that BPR, break a block, FVG, damn, this level is crazy. Okay, this level is actually very strong. I think we may see a sell from there now. We may see a sell, and at least to go to this level minimum, and from there we see again. But this level is very strong. 20 more likes. 20 more likes. Tuesday we have Pav. Pav doesn't know that he's streaming tomorrow, but he will know soon. And can I say just in 6-7 months with your videos, I'm already break even on all of my account and I lost 2 accounts max. That's it, bro. I'm glad, honestly. Well done to you, bro. It's mainly your work. I'm just listen. I've learned today. I've learned last week something very interesting. Is there is a difference between a trading strategy and a trading system. I've never truly seen that aspect, which is very interesting. And at the end of the day, you can come up and take this strategy that I'm using. Cool for you. And honestly, flattering for me and very happy and proud to see that you guys using it. However, my strategy is not packed with a system. And the system is yours. It's your system. How are you going to approach it? How are you going to use the strategy? Are you going to use, let's say, like for example, the system that I have is that I don't usually trade on Monday. I'm not interested in trading on Monday. It's very rare that I trade on Monday, actually, because it's part of my system. Monday is liquidity for me. So no point for me to trade. Another system is that I have only 2 or 3 pairs. Another system is that on challenges, I will do more like 1 to 3, 1 to 2, 1 to 4 risk and reward. Actually, no. Sorry, opposite. When I'm doing challenges, I'm more doing like 1 to 5, 1 to 6 risk and reward. And whenever I'm getting funded, this is where I'm more looking into doing like 1 to 3, 1 to 4 risk and reward. It's part of the system. I can teach you doing high risk and reward. This is a strategy. My system is different based on where I am. You see, that's the difference between those two. Do you see what I mean? Where is your mark starting? Wait, okay, 2 seconds. Just another perspective, not for today. To look at NQ week low from 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. But I mean, yes and no. Actually, no. I know some people are very stubborn on this. I understand that a lot of people are stubborn on this. I would say don't be stubborn on this one. I know you guys really want to target this thing in particular. But right now, let's listen to what the market is telling us. Okay, ooh, so we didn't react. Oh, and we left 2 equals. Okay, so Reboss. Damn, you have the momentum then. Okay. Mr. Diego Usman, I've been following you since AstroFX. A big part of why I'm profitable today is because of you. I appreciate you, mon frère. Damn, that's actually crazy. Okay. That's actually crazy. I'll take a screenshot on this one. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it a lot, man. That's actually crazy. You've been following me since Astro. That's a long time. Appreciate, man. Like this is very like. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Honestly. We're gonna do a giveaway. You got me good on this one. We're gonna do a giveaway soon. Adir, Kasajna Light, no drops free so for you off. Let's fucking go. Thanks, bro. Yes, exactly. Tremo, tell us the difference. I think I said the difference. This one, where's your mark starting point? What's your SL mark? So basically, Billy, whenever, for example, like so this was the marking place. So we were talking. So I know like I was going into like a monologue on this one. So we've missed the initial entry, but I did say that after taking this low, we have this BPR. We should have a reaction. If we do have a reaction, we see for an engulfing candle, which is the engulfing candle is here. So this will be your entry, stop loss at the bottom. The second entry was on this blue box, which is after that we got another engulfing candle. So this could be your entry and your stop loss could be below this low, which is another 1 to 3 kind of risk reward. And after this, we said that the last attempt was those two areas, either this one or this one. And actually the final good one was actually this one, which is we have a small engulfing in here, not that much, but this is quite good. And we can put our stop loss at the bottom, or you can take the entry from there and put your stop loss below the order block in here. So yeah. You're welcome, bro. It's only Monday. We need to be in a good shape. It's only Monday. We still have like 5 days to smash the market. If we're getting depressed on Monday directly, oh my goodness. It's gonna be hard and difficult for the rest of the week. No, that's the wrong week low. I was talking about this level, 28,038. Yeah. Oh, this one. No. Wait. Oh, this one. Oh, maybe you're telling me this on the. Yeah, I think it's this one. No. Bro, he said 28, 30. 28, 38. On Pepperstone chart. Okay. So this one is very low. So I think this one he's talking about. Send me your chart on the Discord. I'm gonna see directly. Tag me on this one. I'm gonna see directly. It's easier. I also been following you for a long time. So I remember when you used to speak of your work as a wedding video photographer. You don't mention it all anymore. Wedding? No, I don't do wedding videographer. I think you're I think you're I think that's someone else. That's someone else. When you look at higher time frames, S&P, how you draw a line? I thought that was yeah, I mean it's too small, bro. So that's the thing that I am still questioning. I don't know if this and this, for example, are liquidity taken. I mean, because I need to understand what has been triggered in here for the market to go away. That's for me is not enough. That's why for me, like, it's relative equals. But yeah, in any way, bro, like, share me your chart on the Discord, and I will have a look. I have a bit of time this afternoon, so I will double check. Okay, so we're gonna do the giveaway then, because TP is coming soon. Okay, so let's wait for the TP. And today we're gonna say it's a win day. Congratulations for those who took the trade. I know if you guys took it. If you did, good job. If you did, very good job. Remember to send me £5. Remember to send me some money, please. Just a little bit. Or just, if you don't have money, just like the video. We need 6 more likes and we can do the giveaway. Okay, Hype is flying, which is amazing. Thank you very much, Hype. Please keep doing it. I will take it this every day. I've bought near again at the lowest. That's good. I know that Reese spoke about buying ASOS. I bought ASOS. I've been stacking some ASOS shares for the past few months, even like since last year. Not gonna lie, it's been like a long time. So let's see how that goes. I've been stacking some of them. Riot, I'm fine, bro. I'm not touching Riot anymore. I've bought Riot at $7. I'm not touching Riot anymore. I'm done. TP2 is this level. But yeah, okay, let's do the giveaway. And after that, let's do the giveaway. So today giveaway. Wait, is that producer? Are you here, bro? Are you here, bro? Are you here? Yes, you're here. Okay, so exclamation mark. We're gonna do 3 exclamation marks today. We're gonna do 3 of them. We're gonna do exclamation mark. We're gonna do this one first. Oh, I can do on one time. Oh, okay. Wait. So don't do this one. Do exclamation mark. This, easy. Yeah, we do an easy one today. Let's do this one. All set. Ready? Okay, nice. So, remember, you guys need to do it only one time. Okay? Only one time. Otherwise, it will be considered as a spam. And today we're gonna do Apex, which is, you guys know, we have 90% off with the code CF. And honestly, if it sounds like so weird what I'm gonna say, but the 1 million in funding, 1 million in funding cost me almost to nothing with those 90%. And sometimes they run those 90% even on the activation fee. Okay, so even on the activation fee, you can use it. And Hola Prime, I'm gonna buy accounts on the Hola Prime very soon. So I'm gonna be trading on the Hola Prime, and I'm gonna tell you if I'm not here to deride our sponsors. So I'm gonna tell you if they are good or not. Okay, but if we are in partnership with them, you know already that they are quite good. So now I need to have an account to check the spread. I want to check during the news how the spread is going. I want to check the if there is any latency, like delay, let's put it that way, during news also, because that's something that I really want to see. an overall spread, and based on that, I will know if they're like very good or not. Because overall, like, I mean, some of you got the Hola Prime. You guys said you were super happy about it, so it's. Osman, can you tell which market are you on? It's NAS. So NAS, this is what I'm looking for on EURUSD. I'm looking for a potential long, but short. Sorry, short. Potential short coming soon. And on DXY, I'm short. I am literally like off. Mostly when I see that, I am super short. I am super short on gold. Mostly when I see that. But I'm gonna be more active on the Discord, and I'm gonna be sharing daily analysis now, because I want to start to be more active with you guys, like with the community. So today it's a win day because we got the perfect analysis for the NAS. And Euro USD and gold. I will do the rest of the analysis on the Discord. But yeah, let's go, boys. Okay, mention you on the text on the trade idea. Oh yeah. Okay. This low. Oh, nice. Okay, nice. Clean charts, by the way. Clean charts. I like it. Okay, nice. Yeah, that looks good. Flashback. This one to Wednesday. Yeah, okay. Give me the name. Oh, actually, let me know when to. Oh, yeah. Give me the name. Give me the name. It's fine. Give me the name. Give me the name. Let's do the duck race. Docker race. Everyone loves the duck race, including myself. I'm gonna put my name also. I want to win. I want to win something. I think I should deserve to win too. Why? I'm doing all the hard work. You guys are just watching. Why? What? Actually, good question. I should be in the list. I'm working. You guys are watching. Hey, okay. I'm adding myself on the list. Give me a sec. Duck race. There we go. Boom. Okay, perfect. So I'm adding myself because tell chat I say, oh, guys, boss said, yeah, boss is saying hello. Boss is saying hello to you guys. Remember how boss can be very nervous sometimes. Can I see if my dog sing underwater? Under the water. Okay, so I'm gonna add myself. Me. Me 3 times. Done. Because I deserve to win too. So boom. Set. Full screen. Okay, guys. Are you guys ready? Can I have my duck with no feathers? Brother, do you think we are like on it? We're doing some nails and what the hell does this do? Okay, let's go. Let's see. Oh, me on top. Oh, I may win. Is not action free account giveaway? Good question. I need to check with the boys. Good question. So this one will be for Apex. Apex accounts. Okay. This is where now we're going to see who is winning. Oh, look at this. Me coming from the top. Oh, oh, it can be me. Oh, no. Okay, shit. Oh, ish. Congratulations, Mr. Nazan Nazu. Mr. Nazan Nazu. Congratulations. Mr. Raza Nazu. Yeah, congratulations, Nazan Razu. Yeah, congratulations for the Apex account. You are now removed. We'll race again and we shuffle. And this time is going to be for the Hola Prime. Hola Prime account. This time is going to be for Hola Prime account. It's a very good CFD account that you can trade every day. Me is cheating, Imo. No, me sleeping dolphin. No, it's not. Wait, by the way, where is me? I don't see any me in here. Oh yeah, I'm here. Okay, now it's here. It's fine. It's fine. No, it's fine. Who is winning? Oh, me. Me. Jofek, he won. Yeah, Hola Prime. Yeah, congratulations. Yeah. Oh, what a lucky. Oh, if you're here, you need to type on the chat. Oh, nice. Okay, next one is TradeZilla. Remove, go away. Well, TradeZilla, if I'm winning TradeZilla, it's not going to work because I already have a membership with TradeZilla for years. So okay, so last one on TradeZilla. Hopefully I may win. Oh, top. This one is going to win. Ricky Holm. He has, he lost momentum. Alibaba is winning. Ali Abdi. I think Ali Abdi. Oi, computer repair. Damn. Oh my god. Tenver. This is your time. Tenver. Where are you, Tenver? Let me get the chat. Where are you, Tenver? Where is the chat? Oh yeah. Tenver, congratulations for the TradeZilla account. This guy was on juice, I swear, bro. Tenver, yes. Okay, nice. And wait, I have something, guys. Wait. Okay, and the guys. Oops, shit. Sorry. I have also. We're gonna also. I want you guys to put a win. Put a W in the chat. Put a W. Quick. Quick. Put a W. 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 Quick. Billy. Billy. So I know we spoke about it. You've been a problem child. Okay. Mom and I, we are tired of your behavior. However, you've been acting quite better past few days. Okay. You've been kind to mommy. You've been doing some gentle hand with kids around you. So today we are going to give you a 1 Apex account. Congratulations, win for Billy. Billy, you have an Apex account. So, we do it in the chat directly. Nice. Okay, nice. So that's for you, Billy. I have 2 other names. They are not here today. So this will be for another day. This will be. Let me. I mean, I'm not gonna give anything to Samuel for now because Samuel got already something last time. Let me see. Can I choose someone then? Oh, good idea, actually, Samuel. Yeah. Because you, Samuel, I trust your judgment. You're actually quite active on stream. You're quite often here also. So I think you will take. I trust your opinion. Choose wisely. I have my name already. Okay. Who is going to? Who are you going to choose? Who are you going to choose? Bro from another mother, you know me. Himself. OG since AstroFX. Okay. Mr. Diego. It's true. Mr. Diego, thank you for your loyalty. Thank you for your activity. It's fucking hell. You've been actually very active on okay. Well, yeah. Okay. I've been scrolling down. You've been active for a long time. Okay. Yeah, rightfully. Oh, Sanji's coming. Yeah, so Mr. Diego, you are the second one, and today, that's it, Mr. Diego. So you will have a Hola Prime account. Okay, you will have a Hola Prime account. Congratulations! Today we smashed it. We've win. We've done some great analysis, great trades. If you've made some money, well done to you guys. And yeah, we win stream today. Yeah, it's a good win. It's a good win today, honestly. Let me see where we are on the charts. Let me see where we are. Yeah, NAS is flying. NAS is flying, and honestly, like, you remember what I said? I said, how do we know that the bias shifts? Now that we have the 1 hour quite bullish, now let's wait for the 4 hours to be quite bullish. If the 4 hours is going to be quite bullish, the next place, if let's say we are having like a small correction to the downside, we have an FVG in here, this could be the next buy opportunity, and boom, you see? But yeah, it feels like SP 500 is going to go higher too, which is great. So yeah, everything is getting quite aligned. For a Monday, that's actually quite good, guys. That's actually quite a good news. So NAS, that's good. SP 500 is good. Gold, yeah, nothing changed, honestly. Like, momentum is dead like crazy, so I'm not looking for any buy opportunities. And look at the VIX. Is like minus 2%. Like, the scarcity is not here right now. Like, we are very low, so even oil is going down. Like, so NAS look like NAS is have everything that, yeah, NAS, SP 500, Dow Jones, everything looks so bullish. Everything looks so bullish. Wait, let me get the chat again. I lost you. I lost the chat. Wrong person, Usman. Are you looking nice? I don't know video then. Video on YouTube. Yeah, it's coming soon. So basically, what I'm gonna do, Wahid, is I'm gonna start Instagram first. I'm gonna start making videos on Instagram first. So you see the setup that I have behind me. Everything is going to move. I'm gonna take my computer. I'm gonna put it behind me, and I'm gonna be streaming with another computer on Wednesday. So like this, I can start making some videos on Instagram. And after that, we're gonna be starting making some YouTube videos. So you're gonna have some free values on Instagram, don't worry. Hey, my camera is laggy. Interesting. Yeah, my camera is laggy. It looks like it's okay. I'm gonna leave you there. Sanj is ready. Sanj is coming from a long weekend. Oh, I think it's my computer lagging. Oh, okay, because I see everyone laggy actually. Okay, so it's my computer. Yeah, so Sanj got a good long weekend, so he has a lot of energy compared to me that got a busy weekend. So you're gonna be in a very good hand, and I will catch you potentially on Wednesday. Okay, take care everyone. Bye.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? Come say what's up in the chat if you guys are still active. How's everybody doing? Makaditsum, what's going on, my friend? Weekend was good. Weekend was very good, thank you. I spent it in Boston. Actually flew over for the weekend. And yeah, had a good chilled weekend out there. I don't know if any of you guys are from the US. I presume we've probably got some people out that way given the time of day. But Boston's such a good vibe. I don't know if you guys have been before. There's something about that place that I just really like. I'm a fan of a lot of America, but Boston specifically, it's just got a very good, clean energy. I don't know what it is about it. But yeah, I've been there a couple of times now, and it's always a good time, man. So yeah, appreciate you asking. What up, Ricky? Usman, why did you shave your head? But if I could take Usman's beard, I'd happily take the head shave. So we're transitioning, man. What's up, Matt? Hope you're well. Who else we got? What's up, Jupe? What's up, Ali? What up, Billy? I just want an Apex trader account. Awesome to see. Always great stuff. What's up, Soren? Habib, what's going on, my friend? That's cool. Boston's on my bucket list. Yeah, honestly, it's a nice vibe. It reminds me a little bit of New York, but it's more chilled, less tourists. And it's a good time, man. It's got good energy. It's clean. I've heard it's relatively safe. It's quite a nice vibe. Only been to Santa Monica for 4 days during the Super Bowl. I mean, if there was any time to go, that sounds like a good time. All right, we have a lot to cover today. I know I haven't been live with you guys since Wednesday, and Thursday we had some fucking antics in the market. There's so much I want to cover and catch up with you guys about. Let me start getting my charts loaded up, and we'll start digging in just a second. But it's been a very, very interesting last few days. Basically the whole time since I've been out, it's been an interesting time in the market. So I want to start running you guys through this. As usual, we're going to dig through market by market. We're going to go through this and see where we left off on, see what markets have played ball, see what markets have absolutely spanked us in terms of analysis, and we'll go from there. So I was on the wrong side of the market on Thursday, which I'll cover. It's actually in the first example I want to go through with you guys. It was my swing position, which we'll talk about, and we'll talk about where things ended up. Ali says, please, Euro. We will be covering Euro. I'm going to get to it literally next, straight after we go through Aussie. Matt also says, take a look at dollar Swiss. I remember I mentioned that last time. We will go through that as well. We're at a fresh month this is the first week of a fresh month. We also have obviously NFP this week. So we're going to go through market by market, and we're going to do a proper top-down analysis for everything, because as those of you will kind of be familiar with, those of you that have tuned into these streams before, a lot of my, we'll call them action zones, my points of interest, they come from ranges that derive from the monthly, the weekly, and the daily chart, largely. You can, of course, take them down into lower time frames, the 4 hour, maybe even the hourly, depending on what sort of trading you really want to be. But a lot of what I do comes from that larger time frame perspective, and so I think it's going to make sense to kind of start from there and see where we go off the back of that. So let's start off with Aussie to begin with. Right, we're on a daily chart. We had, if I jump down a time frame, I'll show you guys. We've had a fair few trading opportunities whilst we've been inside of this kind of range. You can see we started to break out of that towards the end of last week. And then we are now basically back within the range. It's been a very sort of sloppy last few days in Aussie for sure. But definitely been some opportunities to take advantage of a few things. So I mentioned that going in from the previous Friday, so from this area in here, I was actually building a swing position short, which I held through here. As price started to come down, I was looking for opportunities to add in this area, started to basically add as we started to break down. And then Thursday is where it really all started to get a little sketchy and turn around on me. I wanted to see a retest sort of into this zone, which we got, but then we just got no momentum to the downside. And where I put, you can see here, I noted, I think on our last stream, I wanted to add at this level. I did. We got a rejection off the area that I wanted, this kind of old low in here. I did add at this level, and as you can see, the market just initially gave a small rejection, but then completely rolled over and absolutely spanked me. My stops were above that high, and I took a loss on all of those. I was out for minus 1.7%. was my total loss on that swing position. I started adding in, expecting this to start rollover once we lost these lows, and honestly, was just wrong. There's no better way to put it than I was just plain wrong. I was on the wrong side of the market. It is what it is. And that's all there really is to say. There's so many people, and I do want to make a point out of this for those of you that are watching this. I know for a fact there's going to be somebody that gets on these calls and these streams, and you're going to be in a place where you take a losing trade inevitably at some point in time, and you're going to look back at a position. You're going to ask yourself the infamous question, right? Which is, what did I do wrong? Where did I screw up my analysis on this that allowed me to be on the wrong side of this chart? The problem with this idea, I find, is, especially if your approach is purely technical, there is an infinite number of ways that you could analyze this chart to get you either long and short, and you will always find what you are looking for, right? So if you look for reasons as to why you should have been long in this area, you could have said, oh, this is an area of liquidity, I need to be tapping into this area. You could come up with a million different reasons. You will always find a reason as to why you are wrong and what you should have done differently. I try and look at it from the opposite perspective, which is, I have a list of criteria that gets me into a trade that tells me that this idea is completely valid. As long as those criteria have been met, I followed my plan, and I shouldn't be overthinking everything that happens after this. Because in alignment with my plan, there are a number of trades that are statistically just not going to work. That is part and parcel of what my plan does and what every plan does. It doesn't matter how good your strategy is going to be. You're always going to go through losses. You're always going to take L's at some point in time. And you need to be able to actually understand what is a valid loss and what is a loss that is outside of your strategy. And that's something that you have to be able to strongly identify. So when I look at this from a daily perspective, and I look at the price action that we saw in this area, which gave me the narrative as to why we decided to go short, or building a short position from this area, I was expecting a little bit of a deeper rollover. I was looking for at least this area to get swept. But we didn't get it, and that's fine. It's going to be a valid loss. It's going to be one of many hundreds of more to come into the future, which just don't really work out. And my job in this situation is not to overthink. It's not to doubt my strategy. It's just to understand it's a statistical part of this game, and that's just part and parcel of what we do. Ali says, I'm new. Can you please tell us your strategy or plan? Yes, for sure. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take off all of the drawings. Like I said, we're at a new month. I think that makes for a good time to start with some kind of higher time frame, top-down analysis. I like to say that my approach to the markets is very, very simple. It was designed to be this way because I wanted it to eliminate confusion. I wanted it to eliminate overthinking, overanalyzing, jumping from one strategy to another. And you'll find on many occasions when you identify these kind of points of interest in the way that I do, they provide very good areas of price to start looking for a reaction. Now, whether you want to play these from a swing perspective, whether you want to play these from an intraday perspective, it's entirely up to you, right? Entirely up to you as to how you want to navigate this. I've typically been doing this from a swing perspective for the last few years. I'm actually going into the start of this month. I'm actually on the journey of going back into intraday trading. I'm finding swing trading, at least for what I look for, is increasingly more difficult, especially during Trump times. I've been really having a hard time with this over the last few months. And I think a little bit of more of an intraday approach where it allows me to really just be more flexible with what is happening in the market right now is going to be a beneficial approach. So let me start this through from the kind of basics of what we are looking at to help you explain how I identify my areas of interest and then what would get me in and essentially out of a trade. Okay. Michael said, well said, L's are part of the process. It's good not to overthink losses. 100%. If your losses are part of the plan, if you've done everything that you can to control those moments, then I don't think there's anything to overthink in those situations. I think you have to accept that it's a game of probabilities and simply keep moving on. Okay. So let's start at the very beginning, right? I'm going to say take a little bit of, take some of this with a pinch of salt, because again, you can apply this to any time frame that you're looking for. But the biggest struggle that I found when I started to go through a variety of different strategies is there were a ton of people that would all draw pretty much the same thing in a variety of different ways. You think about supply and demand, support and resistance, order blocks, all of these types of things. We're all identifying essentially certain areas in price where we want to do business. Now, I'm a big fan of things like supply and demand. I'm a big fan of support and resistance, and I wanted an objective way to be able to identify these things on the charts. Now, in order to get myself in alignment with some of these moves that played out, I wanted to be able to identify areas in price where it was likely that price was going to be reactive, where we were likely to see some kind of reaction in price. So the first thing I do is I usually start on a monthly chart. Again, whatever the higher time frame chart is for you, that might be a daily chart, it might be a 4-hour chart. It depends obviously what sort of time frame that you trade. But I think whatever that higher time frame is, start from that perspective and work your way down. So I'm going to go from a daily to a week, from a monthly to a weekly to a daily, and I'll talk you through the process and rationale behind what I'm looking for on each time frame. And then we can go through and build trade ideas once we have this kind of mapped out for us. Okay. So what I'm looking for here essentially is specific ranges that price has largely been stuck within. So for example, again, this is a monthly chart. If you look at this, this candle here, this bullish candle from April 2026, you can see that after this time, price has basically been stuck between the high and low of that month. Yes, of course, we've had slight deviations, but we haven't really had any closure or acceptance from price at this level. So what I like to do at these points is I will draw a box at the top and bottom end of the range, which I will refine on a lower time frame in just a second. But we want to get just a rough area of price, and I will label these monthly ranges, just like this, right? We're going to go down to a weekly level, and we're going to look at exact same thing. We're going to say to ourselves, from a weekly perspective, where has price, what is the current range that price has been stuck within over the given period of time? So you can see that this weekly candle here from the 22nd of June, you can see that there have been several candles outside of this, which have caused, or which have made up a range that we have been stuck with it. However, the top end of this candle, and I'll draw a little line on this, you can see that last week's weekly range closed outside of that, which would give us a fresh weekly range, which I would draw up something that looks like this. And we'll take the whole wick in this instance, but I will, like I said, I will refine this in just a second. And this becomes our weekly range, right? So now we drop down to a daily time frame, and I'm just going to start to refine these levels, right? So I'm going to use the daily wicks and the highs and the lows in here. We'll do the same from a monthly perspective. You can see that this was our wick from a monthly perspective. We had April in here. We will draw this like this. And these become our action zones, right? So you can see like the monthly range that we have, right? This upper blue box in here. You can see that we actually had this drawn up from the tail end of April and actually provided us with a good confluence for a potential trade going into the start of July, right? An area that was drawn up 1 or 2 months prior to the process, but given us a nice reactionary point in order to do business. Very similar, the area that we would have drawn up at the start of May, which was the range end from April, you can see from the reaction that we had going into the end of May, which led to this very large swing down, provided a nice area to actually think about doing business as part of what we're doing here. So we do the same thing from the monthly, the weekly, and then of course we can do this from a daily perspective as well. So you can look at the daily chart in here. And again, we're going to get a little bit of an overlap in these zones, but you will start to see the relevance to what we're doing here. I'll draw this out some ways over here, and we'll mark this with daily range. and then same with over here. Now, the idea behind these ranges is that generally speaking, what we're either going to do is we're going to remain stuck within a range, or we're going to break out and we're going to expand away from the range. And wherever you tend to look at, these tend to provide, not every time, but on a lot of occasions, they tend to provide good quality reaction zones in order to do business. Okay, so now we have monthly, weekly, and daily ranges to work within that we can use to kind of govern price where we are. Now you can see from where price closed on this day, this was the range created on Thursday. You can see that Friday did not manage to actually break out of that range. We tested the upper end of it. We actually closed down below. So this range remains very, very relevant. And what I would ideally be looking for here, and again, I'll take this down. I don't know how this panned out, but I'll take this down to a 5-minute chart. And if we're looking for movements within the range, then ideally what we want is to see one end of the range rotate to the other end of the range. So we've got the daily end here. We've got the daily end on this side. What I would love to see in a perfect world is if we don't manage to break outside of the range from the top end, we want to see that range be used as kind of a rotational zone to get in alignment to ride a potential move down to the lower end of the range. Now, I don't know what the price action looks like on a lower time frame. We're going to go and explore that together and see what that's looking like. But we will see what happens, and we will see where we go if it gives us a potential setup. What's up, Sherry? Hope you're doing well. What today? I forgot. Bottom ticks, Aussie Canadian. Just sniffed my TP. I do still hold. Awesome. I'll add this to my list to come and check out. I think we've had requests for Euro. We've had requests for dollar Swiss and Aussie Canadian. I will definitely add on to the list as well to go through. We'll see what you guys are looking at. If there is anybody else on the stream today that is thinking about taking a trade, if you're confused about a market, if you've taken a trade and just want my honest thoughts on it, happy to do this. Again, mindful we will probably trade in very different ways. But sometimes getting out of your own head, seeing a different perspective, stop you getting caught in an existing bias can sometimes be quite a beneficial thing to do. So we'll have a breeze through some of these. I'm going to add these to my list to kind of work through. But this is what we are currently looking like. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and keep this as fair and as simple as possible. I know this is obviously has a little bit of hindsight in here, but the analysis all remains the same. And what we ideally want to do in this instance is we want to see from a lower time frame. I'm going to take this down to an hourly and then a 5-minute chart to see if our daily range or maybe something within our weekly range provided us some kind of narrative to start building a short position to take us back down to the lower end of the range. Okay, so we'll start off on an hourly perspective. Again, we're bar replaying here. So we're going to see where this ended up. We're going to play this out. We obviously opened with a little gap to the upside. We started creating momentum to the downside. This is where we start moving inside of our daily range. Do we get anything from a 5-minute perspective that gives us something to play from? So we've definitely had a clean breaker structure in here. You could see we had a nice little retest in here. Is there anything that really stands out for me that would get me involved in this trade? In all honesty, I don't know. There's nothing that really screams out to me. I mean, this is where we're at in current price. There's nothing that super screams out to me as a means to kind of be getting involved in. If I was going to be very, very picky, I would want to see like this old low created on Friday, which was essentially Friday's closing price. Once we get a clean break of that, we can enter here, which would look something like that. Stop above the highs. And then looking for a rotation to the downside. Again, wouldn't be my favorite play. I don't think it was as clean as I would typically like it. But if you were really wanting to be aggressive on this, that would be the type of setup that I would typically be looking for. Otherwise, in all honesty, I would look at Aussie today and I would have no play as we currently stand. But the ranges remained as my points of interest. So any retest back up into here into Tuesday, I would definitely be looking for some type of reaction to, again, look for that rotation to continue playing the range here from the daily and the weekly perspective for a potential move. That's what I would be potentially looking for. Okay, let's move on to Euro. Now, we spoke about Euro last week, and actually what I was eyeing up was a potential move down to these lows in here. Now, as you can see, price missed that. I mentioned, and again, you'll see this on the stream from last week, that I wasn't really favoring a short setup. If I had to force something, let me get rid of this bar replay for a second. If I had to force something, it would have been something that looked like this. I would have wanted to see a sweep of this high coming into this area of supply, and then creating a move down off the back of this. This was not a trade that I took. This was a gun to my head. If I had to build a position in Euro, this is ideally what I would want to be looking at. But I said, did not really like the kind of type of move in here. Hence, I didn't want to play this myself. And as you can see, it would have resulted if you had taken the trade in an L. Now, interestingly, we have, where are these drawn up from? Let me have a look at what we are looking at here. I believe this is a weekly range, right? Same sort of analysis. Again, we're going to draw this on from scratch to give us a kind of updated overview here. But you can see from a weekly perspective, we have this weekly candle here, which is from the 22nd of June. And you can see over the last few weeks, it has encompassed these candles and essentially shown us a good range which has been established from high to low. And again, the way you would typically play this is you take rotations from the high and you want to get out towards the lower end of the range. Now, if we take this down to a daily chart, you can see this a little bit more clearly. You can see the rotations, especially from the upper end. The lower end, we didn't get too much of a reaction from. If we looked at this ultimate area in here, maybe you would have got a reaction from the lower end weekly range, but from how I had them drawn up, didn't have it, but still providing great reaction points in order to do business. We're going to take these off as obviously our weekly ranges have now changed. What would be the stance that I'm currently playing at here on Euro? I would say the most obvious area that jumps out to my eye in terms of ranges that we have been stuck within, I would want to be drawing up a range that probably looked something like this from a monthly perspective. So the upper end in here, the lower end looking something like in here, very small wick in here. If I refine these on a daily chart, just so we're getting the right sort of areas, this would look something like this. This one, again, I would probably take into account this whole range and low in here. And this would be the monthly range that I'm looking for rotations off of in price, right? So again, you can see the levels at work here. And again, this has been a range which has been established, if you take you back to the monthly chart, which was established in June 2025, right? So a level which could have been on your chart for 1 year, still providing opportunities in order to do business. Now, again, there's going to be a vast amount of time between these. And, you know, if you're looking to play rotations from one side to the other, you're probably looking really at a good long swing play here. This is outside of the realm at which I would really play as well. But definitely some context here for the levels in which you would look at. Again, different market, but still providing very good reaction zones to potentially play from in here. Now, again, we take this down to a weekly perspective. From a weekly perspective, we've created this fresh range from last week, which I would again draw the highs and lows of the range on, which would essentially look like this. We'll refine these from a daily perspective. They would look like that. That was Friday. So we get our weekly range in here, and we have, this would be our low end range in here. And then again, from a daily perspective, looking very similar to what we had mapped out in Aussie here. But this would be our dominant daily range. Until we get the candle close outside of this, this would be the dominant range that I would be playing from a daily perspective. And we would map that essentially like that. So then you have essentially two choices in order to do business. You're either playing the expansion of the range or you're playing the reversion, the play back inside of the range. The plays back inside, I would argue, are somewhat easier, largely because they provide you a very objective way to go from one end of the range to the other. It maps out an area to start to do business. It maps out an area where you could look to target. It just makes things very, very objective, very, very nice and easy. But this is essentially what I would be looking for here in euro dollar. So again, take you down to an hourly chart. Hourly actually gave a very nice clean setup here off of, at least in terms of a reaction, right? You look at the price action, look at the daily range in particular. You can see we came down, we found a little bit of support in here, a little bit of support in here. Once we broke through and had some acceptance of price below, you can see we came back, we retested from the other side, and we have started to move down since then. Again, you can look at this from a 5-minute chart. You can look for your specific entry models, whether they presented in here or not. But from my eye, very, very clean setup in price, right? You can look at something that plays kind of like this, depending on how aggressive you would want to be with your stop. I generally say I'm a pretty conservative trader. I like to keep my stops fairly wide. That would be the type of play that I would be open to look towards playing. And again, you could take this from an hourly chart and it would give you a 1 to 1.1. So depending on the risk to reward, the win rate that you were looking for, this may be something you exclude. It may be something that you look at. But this would be a potential play that really ticks the boxes for me. I quite like the price action that we're seeing in here. And again, you can refine this. You can look at something from a 5-minute chart if you really wanted to. You could take the breakdown of the structure in here. And you could take the first candle close below. You could have your stop above this high, depending, again, how aggressive you want it to be. The idea behind the analysis here is less to do with the actual, like how specifically you choose to get in. A lot of people will frame this as like the entry model. I like to look at the actual area of reaction, right? As long as I can get the general area right, then I find getting on board the move is actually a lot easier than you think. You can look for very simple. I look for, simple breakdowns and breaks in structure in terms of price moving in the direction that I'm favoring. And then just simply trailing price in that means, I think just provides a very, very easy route to where you want to go. So that would kind of be my view on euro as we currently stand. What's up, Fez? Hope you're doing well, man. We're going to keep working our way through the markets. Again, like I said, I'm open to taking suggestions of markets that you guys want me to look at. If you've got trades that you're in, if you've got markets that you're stuck in, I'm planning to work through the bulk of this kind of watch list anyway. We've got a lot to unpack. I want to pick back up on where some of the positions were that we looked at last week, and we will work from there. So euro we've ticked off. I believe the other recommendation that we had was for dollar Swiss. I'll have a look at that next. Fez says the long on NASDAQ was great today. We'll be taking a look at that very, very shortly. And we'll see what that is looking like. Let's have a look at dollar Swiss. I think, who recommended this? It was Matt. Take a look at dollar Swiss. Remember, I mentioned it last time. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at what this market is looking like. So I'm going to start labeling these properly now. I think I've started to do this on some of our other charts in terms of giving us an actual bias. But I think if I was saying, if I wanted to be short, Matt, please forgive me if I'm wrong. I believe when we last looked at, I believe when we last looked at dollar Swiss, I feel like we were in alignment with what we were looking at. I feel like we were both looking at the chart and we said, if we wanted to take a short, then it would happen after, I believe it would have been that point of interest. Correct me if I'm wrong. It'll be on a stream somewhere last week whenever we spoke about it last. But that's probably what I would have been looking at. And I think what I would have said, Matt says you were spot on. Yeah, so I think we were like definitely in alignment with what we were looking at in here. We mentioned we had a weekly top end range in here. You can start to see the rejection that came in here. It was actually, honestly, a beautiful play. If you look at things just from a higher time frame perspective, right? We look at the exact same way that I analyze this market. I talk about rotations from one end of the range down to the opposing end of the range. You can see that if I take you to a weekly chart, This was the weekly candle that we were looking at. Top end of the range, lower end of the range. You look at taking a rotation from that. The biggest structural break, actually, I would argue that there could have been a cleaner one. I can't remember when specifically we drew this up, but I suspect we were maybe somewhere in here in price, maybe. But if you look at these structural lows in here, and if you had the point of interest that was drawn up in here, I would argue that actually this provided a really nice area to potentially do business from. And setting up a short from there, regardless of where you would have gotten, even if you would have gotten at the candle close, stops above the high, looking at a rotation back down to the lower end. Again, the entry model is kind of up for grabs, however you kind of want to pinpoint these out. But for me, the entry trigger would have been on a break of that point of interest. At the time we spoke, I think I mentioned a break of this point of interest. Whichever one you would have taken, even if you had taken this one from here down to here, directionally correct, risk to reward, questionable. That may have been something that you excluded for the time being, but looking at the areas that you want to see fold in order to get you in alignment with the market, very much play ball here. Again, very, very simplistic stuff. Very, very easy way to get on board with what we are looking at. Where do we go from here? Let's have a look at things from a monthly. Matt says the only issue for now is we have a higher low confirmed by a 50 close EMA tap and equal daily lows. Let's have a look. I'm doing this on the wrong chart completely. Daily lows. Okay, I see what you're saying here. You said there's also a 50. I don't have it on this chart. Simple moving average. Let's throw this on a 50 exponential. EMA 50. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at what we are looking at in here. Higher low conferred by a 50 close EMA tap and then equal daily lows. I definitely see the play that you're looking at here. And you know what? To be honest, if you look at just the structure in price, it does look like it's tearing up, right? You look at a broad base, and again, we're going very, very wide scope here, but we're getting very clean higher highs, higher lows. Is that going to be our next target? I mean, from a momentum perspective, I see it. I could potentially see that as a potential swing target that people could be looking for. To be honest, I don't know if I have anything that really stands out to me to want to do business. I'll show you the obvious area that stands out, right? We've already got this kind of monthly range in here, which we have drawn up. If I go on to the weekly, we are still within this range. I would basically be looking for rotation from the lower end, probably back up to the upper end of the range. That is probably the cleanest play that I would be looking for here. Yeah, I would probably keep it as simple as that, which would mean that the long play we would be looking for is in or coming in and around that area. And again, I mean, if we're going to look at this as being a kind of an inverse play of euro here, we looked at euro being quite a clean short setup. You could also argue the exact same for dollar Swiss in terms of a long setup. You know, or I presume some people will know, the correlation between these two is often very inverse. Dollar Swiss is usually just the inverse of a euro play here. So yeah, definitely some scope to argue that there could be a potential move here to the upside, exactly the same as what we were talking about in a downside play here in euro to the downside. I would, if I was currently in euro, I would probably be looking at scaling my stops. The fact that we're continuing this downward momentum, I would probably be at least moving my stops down to here, covering sort of these highs, reducing my risk exposure in this, especially if we get an hourly candle that closes anything like we are now. That would be somewhat favorable from where we came from. Matt says the high where we came from was a super clean rejection from a weekly order block refined to a daily order block. Let's have a look. Order blocks are not necessarily what I generally like to look for, but let's have a look. I think if I'm looking at the right thing, again, I'm most definitely not some expert order block drawer, if that's even the right way to put this. Would you be looking at something like that? That is maybe, I think, what you may be referring to. I'm not sure. Weekly order block, refined down to the daily. Correct. Yeah. Again, I don't really use order blocks too much, but I see it. I see what you're looking at. I don't know if this like this tap would have thrown you off. I don't know if you look at only fresh order blocks. If you're okay with the second test, then I guess it's perfect. Fits exactly what you're looking for and nails the absolute high. It tapped the 100 close EMA to the top of the wick. There you go. A little bit of confluence in that area. I guess made for a very nice short setup. Very nice to see. Very nice to see. 100 close EMA on the weekly. Some exponential 100 close. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, it's just yeah, very, very interesting play. In all honesty, mainly just because I prefer Euro over dollar Swiss. Euro would be my preferred play if I was going to take it, but I see it. I definitely see it for sure. Be interesting to see how this plays out. We will leave this again. We'll pick this up throughout the week and see how Euro plays ball for sure, and we will go from there. Mohit says, do you also consider fundamentals? Yes. I'll go through a few examples where I've talked about like having a fundamental overview. In all honesty, didn't help me to capture this move in the way that I would have liked. And I'll talk you through the swing play that I had. But yes, I wouldn't say I'm some like heavy expert on fundamentals, Mohit. But I do like to try and consider them as much as I can, especially because some of my plays will go into, you know, sort of days into weeks, some of my swing plays. And when these do fall over, you know, certain economic releases, I like to see them providing fuel to the fire. So if I can get them, you know, in alignment with those things, then it's definitely beneficial for sure. But yeah, let's, I think the last suggestion I had before I continue working on the list was Aussie Canadian. Let's have a look at where we are with this. I mean, if I could show you a range, if I ever did see one, this would really be it, right? This is probably arguably a super, super clean range that we are working here. This is our monthly range. Again, higher time frame. We'll have a look at what this is looking like. I mean, just look at the bounces from one end to the other, right? Really simple, clean stuff. Who was it that requested Aussie Canadian? Sherry, bottom ticked Aussie Canadian, by the way, just sniffed my TP. I do still hold. I presume you're looking at maybe something a little bit shorter term, but from a higher time frame, you look at the rejections here. I would probably simplify this to something like this and something that probably looks a little bit like this. But yeah, really, really clean range here on Aussie Canadian. And again, like I said, this is something that you could have had drawn up since the end of May. Great opportunity for shorts into June, rotation back down to buy long mid-June, rotation back short towards the end of June. Like, I mean, the ping pong between here, crazy. Really, really clean price action. But the unfilled rotation, which we're currently looking at, would be between the lower end rotating towards the upper end of the range. Will we get that? I don't know, to be seen. We've had a couple of tests of this before we've seen, or maybe you can consider that 3 tests before we've seen a rotation back to the upper end. What we're looking like on the weekly, I mean, this would be the only range that I would really want to play, right? The monthly extremes, I think, to me, make the most sense. Whether you want to play the breakdown and expansion of the range extremes, or whether you want to play the rotations from one side to the other. I think there's room to look at potentially both of those. But the thing with these ranges are the longer they stay in range, the bigger the expansion generally when they start to break out. So it would definitely be one to watch. Let's have a look at, from a lower time frame, what we'd be looking at. So this would be big bullish range in here, broke out, shorts, bulls still within this range. Then we lose that here, we reclaim here. So yeah, it would be basically the nuance of this candle, which would make for our daily range to the up and to the downside, which would look something like this. Daily range. If we refine on the hourly, this was our Friday range low. This was our Friday range high. These would be the areas that I would be looking for potential action today. So again, you could have taken this two ways. Where does this fall? Early hours of London. Again, a little bit of a wider stop here, but your short setup would have looked something like that, playing for the rotation down to the lower end of the range. Give you a 1 to 1.22 potential play. Definitely in there from an intraday perspective, but very nice swift movement to the downside. Really gets you in alignment with that move. And as you can see, there wasn't a whole bunch more range to capture in the day. You can see we're back within the average weekly range. I also like to look at the average daily range statistically over the last 20 days. You can see, I wouldn't say it's an overlap, but definitely confluence in this area with a reason to wanting to get out. So definitely a move to be had here. Really, really quite nice price action, to be honest. Just from the weekly range, if you're looking at playing these ranges, definitely something to take from here. Where do we go from here? You could argue that, is this going to be the retest to take this for a further move to the downside? Is this going to be, a kind of a false breakout of this daily range from Friday? And are we going to see reversion back into the range? Possibly. Nothing that immediately stands out to me here. I would love to see the price action continue to play out. I would honestly prefer to see the reversion back into the range, just because it gives you a nice defined target to the upside. But we'll see where we go. It'll be an interesting watch, interesting one to see it play out. Let's continue on through the watch list, because we had some interesting moves last week, which I would love to unpack with you guys, because they really, really created some volatility off the back of this. It'll make for some very interesting discussion points, right? The yen pairs, I specifically look at GJ, the Beast, and dollar yen. I mean, what a move, right? I had my bias pinned out in here, looking for a long into the daily range. I believe, and again from memory, when we talked about this last week, I mentioned that this didn't quite tick the boxes of what I was looking for. Purely, I wanted to see it tap really that lower end range, which we had drawn up from in here. I think, and again, I'm thinking back to the stream when we spoke about this specific area. I was looking at to see if maybe I should have adjusted the level, but I believe I left it where it was. And it just didn't give me. Here is where I would have been looking for the longs. And as you can see, absolutely nothing. We did eventually have the intervention from, I believe, Bank of Japan and the US side as well, to really bring some stabilization. I don't know if that's the right word to use for the Japanese yen. The guys that take over the stream from Market AI, probably the best people to be speaking to about this in terms of their outlook, in terms of the fundamentals. Like I said, it's most definitely not one of my strongest areas, though I do like to keep my kind of, I like to keep my eyes on the news and things like that. But yeah, clearly, most definitely did not get the long off the lower end of the range. And again, I probably would have spoken about this at some point in time. I've been speaking about this for months. Ever since we had our first bout of intervention here, I've been talking about only really wanting to be short because it has been very, very clear from a fundamental perspective that the Bank of Japan was not happy with the Japanese yen at the levels where it was. And that's, something that you kind of really want to be considering when you've got, a central bank that has openly expressed that they are not happy with the levels of their currency, and they have already come in on many previous occasions and intervened before. And I'm talking like years into the past. They have been doing this for a number of years to try and stabilize their currency. And from what I have seen, and again, I'm not a fundamental expert by any means, but from everything that I have witnessed every time they do this, it has been not a long-lasting way to provide stability to the Japanese yen, right? I think until there is probably some narrative change to their interest rates, I don't know if there's going to be a sustained move like they are wanting to the downside. Maybe now that the US has got involved as well, maybe you could create a case to say that, you know what, there's definitely a short play to be had. In all honesty, and again, I'll keep it completely real with you guys, I have been trying to front run this intervention for some time, was not successful with it. The idea was fundamentally right. You can see, I'll show you where I took it. I was trying to take it in dollar yen. And I positioned myself short in here, right? In this sort of area. After we had the first round of intervention, now we had a fundamental bias that was aligning with a technical bias because we were coming back into this big area of supply, which led to this that was the first spell of intervention. And I was building a short position in here, but ultimately got squeezed out. I cut my losses before it actually tagged my full stop because I just did not like the price action not giving way. You can see that this is just being bought up every dip to the downside. You can see the wicks price is just being brought up on here. And it did not surprise me when we got the break to the upside. Now, did I see the short play coming? No. In all honesty, I just did not see it coming out in the way that it did. For me, this move was far more like fundamentally driven than it was in terms of a clean, short, like technical setup, at least from the time frame that I'm looking at. Like from a daily perspective, there was just nothing clean in there for me to kind of operate from to get on board with that. So a little bit unfortunate in here. Like I said, I was expecting or hoping that we would see, the technicals and the fundamentals overlap in this area, and we would see this type of move off, but coming from this place. That was ideally what I was looking for. But you could see from top to bottom, at least where we stand at the moment, almost 900 pips, a 5% move in this currency pair, which is pretty crazy for dollar yen over the space of 3 days. Nuts. Like insane volatility that we have been witnessing here. And like I said, just has not given me an opportunity to get on board in a clean technical way that I ideally would have liked. Now, one thing that is worth noting, I'll start off on this in dollar yen here, right? We actually, ironically, we were talking about a potential short setup in here last week. As you could see, it played out. But I do believe I mentioned from when we did this, I probably would have been out on a trailing stop in here. I don't think I would have held for all of this. I think where I would have been out is in here somewhere. But had you held your nerve, you could look at just the daily rotations in price would have done enough to provide good, clear areas to get you on board. One rotationary area to the other side to help you get on board with that. There was definitely some room to play this out from a daily rotational level. I just wasn't looking at that, right? What I had drawn up, and I'll show you guys what this was looking like. From a monthly perspective, I was looking at this area. Was it here or GJ? I think it was GJ that I had this drawn up. From a monthly perspective, we've just had these very clean reversals coming off of this. It was dollar yen. Sorry, let me have a look. I'm going to draw up these levels exact same way. So we're taking, again, we're going to have to redraw these in just a second, but I want to show you the rotations in price round here, right? We had these two range end highs. If I can zoom out a little bit. you can see these currently looked like this. It would have been this area in here combined with this area in here. If we take you down, look at the reactions, right? Again, it didn't give us anything for the shorts, granted, but look at the reactions in price. In terms of areas to do business, they're just a very clean, simple way to identify areas to be getting in. Where do we go from here is the big question, right? Well, for me, for my eyes, you can see from a monthly perspective, we're now working with a very fresh range to work with, which would look something like this and this. Let me draw these up as our monthly ranges. A little bit of higher time frame analysis here to kind of talk you through this. Let's go down to a daily chart, and 1 second, sorry. This was for July. The highs made in July were all the way up in here, and the lows down in here. Okay, so these would be our ranges to work within and get rid of that. So from a lower time frame, let me put the visibility on. If we drop down to an hourly, nothing that I honestly would have traded. There's nothing in here that kind of gets me on board with this move. We're coming back up to currently retest this though, which will be interesting. If we are looking for that simple mean reversion, so something I is worth mentioning here, right? We talked about this idea that the Japanese yen has typically, every time they have intervened, there's been a large sell-off like we have had here, almost 900 pips, a 5% decline in this, or strengthening of the Japanese yen, you could say, over the last 3 days. Typically, every time these have occurred, these have provided good opportunities, good opportunities to get in alignment with the dominant trend. Now, I personally would have loved to have seen that low get swept. Is it enough to put me off wanting to get long? Probably not. But the area that I would be really looking at here is I would be first interested in seeing the reaction in this area. But the one that does really stand out is what will happen when we get a test of this area of price in here, right? I'm going to change this label to longs above here, because that would be the kind of area of price that I would be interested in doing business. And what I would love to see, and again, I'm just going by the price action that we're looking at this moment in time, it would be something like longs above this area once we get a candle close through. Now, depending on price action, if this is the last relevant swing low, it would probably go below that low in there. If we did come in and we created another swing low closer to that sort of area of price, then maybe we could tuck it under there as well. It keeps it outside of this structural area. It keeps it outside of this swing point as well, and gives us a nice place to define risk. And then we would be looking for a rotation back up to the upside. Now, granted, because of the volatility in this pair at the moment, we're talking almost a 200 pip stop from where we currently are in price, which again, still gives you a 3R to the upside, which is insane because of the volatility. But definitely a potential play. I'm going to leave this drawn up on here to see how this potentially plays out. Again, not a valid setup as we stand, but if we get price acceptance through this area, then I think it could provide a great pivot zone to start building a long opportunity to the upside. Okay, so we'll see where that goes. See what price wants to deliver. Like I said, we'll let this play out in real time, and keep eyes on this as we go throughout the week. GJ, what do we have to consider in here? I would say last relevant area in price, probably looking like up here. we drop a level in here. And our level in here. Again, just going to put this as our monthly. I'll take this down into a lower time frame, talk about some short-term opportunities. Let's just map what this is looking like. June, so that's going to be this high in here. And then the lows of June. Yeah, so lows of June will look like this area in here. It looks like here and here. So this would be our kind of map of what the monthly levels are looking like. And you can see from last month, even though, we got this big rejection to the upside, closed within the prior range of that month, which means the rotation from here down to here would have been on. And because we have not got a solid close through the lower end of that monthly range, this range remains relevant. So again, we play with the exact same narrative, which is if the Japanese yen intervention is not going to be successful longer term, this chart already looks more appealing to me than dollar yen, if I'm completely honest, right? We've come down, swept some lows in here, swept some lows in here. Are we going to get a rotation from this area in price? We drop down to an hourly time frame. Let me put these, change the visibility of these so we can actually look at these on the hourly. I mean, really, really nice area for a rotation in here, literally this morning, right? Early hours of Asia. Nothing in here that I could have done from an hourly perspective. So something to keep in mind. Give me 1 second. So something to consider here with GJ. Fez says, it's so chill to listen to you. You've got a comforting voice. Keep it up. Fez, I don't think I've ever had that compliment in my life, but I appreciate that. You know, I think one of those weird things is whenever you hear yourself back on camera, you always find that your voice sounds super weird. As long as other people find it interesting, I appreciate that. Thank you, Fez. I appreciate that, my friend. Right. As I was saying, I personally wouldn't have had, at least from an hourly perspective, anything that I could have got on board with here. Again, if you were being aggressive, I need to change the interval of this again. If you were playing this down to a 5-minute chart, which I'll map out in here, could you have got something to get you on board? In all honesty, I don't know. It's a difficult one. But I mean, does it provide a reaction? Of course. Is the reaction enough for you to define your stop, define a potential target that you're looking at? Potentially. I don't know. I think that bit is going to be up to how you guys frame your entry models and go from there. I'm simply mapping out the reactionary areas in price, the very, very simple objective way to map out how we are looking at the markets. And it's done its job. The play, again, ideally that I would love to see is if we see failure and reversion of this area of price, right? So I would want to be looking at point of interest. And again, we're going to label this very similar to long above here. Very similar to what we were looking at in terms of dollar yen. I would want to see price come in and really change the narrative in here. If we can get some price action, if we can flip above and get a long above there, that would be amazing. All bets are off if we continue to create some fresh lows in this area, but that would be the ideal zone that I want to see a pivot off going forward. So we'll see what happens, see what maps out, and we will go from there. Cable. Again, also had a very large run up into the tail end of last week. I think from a lower time frame, we had something which we were keeping on our radar from last week. Again, the move, I would argue, was correct. Just did not, at least from an hourly perspective, this is that Wednesday evening, didn't really give us anything to really get on board with. FOMC really sent this skyrocketing to the upside. From a 5-minute chart, was there anything that we could play from? I mean, can you make this up? Look at the reaction. Again, probably wouldn't have been one that I played for. But again, levels doing their work. Very simple, clean ways. Again, this is not trade advice, not giving you guys signals in order to play from. But if you want to map out these zones in the exact same way and then use your own entry models, methods of analysis, applying your biases on top, and just using these areas to find rotational points in price, definitely very, very possible to do off the back of this. So, another one really that I'm liking the looks of, really played out quite nicely. Where are we at for this week? Let's go back to our higher time frames here. Let's have a look at where price is at. Very sloppy, if I'm honest. Doesn't really scream out to me as something that I would particularly want to do business in. Especially because we're giving very little kind of, wasn't not supposed to move that. Very little reactions to these zones. I like these to be quite clean pivot points, like we've seen in here, like we've seen in here. We just haven't had that, at least as we stand. Whether this is going to become more meaningful going forward, I don't know, but I'm just starting to like this area less and less with how it is playing ball in this kind of area. I don't know if it would be an area that I particularly want to do business. I would probably want to redraw at least the weekly ones. You can see that the monthly ones still very much in play here. We've had this established range since basically the bulk of the last year of price, right? Since July last year, we established this range and price has really struggled to find any momentum to the outside of that, which would mean we're looking for rotation from the lower end, which we've had a rejection in here. Are we going to get that retest of the upper end? That could provide a directional bias for you. And maybe that's something that you want to be considering in your analysis. Where I would be looking to play this would look something like this. And again, if we were sticking with the long bias of what we are looking for here, I would want to see the break from the upside out of this to continue on with that momentum to the upside, which from a lower time frame, let me draw these back up. Why are we not getting, oh, there we go. You can see, I wouldn't argue the strongest room of maybe you could argue if you had been super aggressive on the open and taken something like that, maybe you would have taken a loss in there. Wouldn't have been the cleanest play in my eyes. I would have preferred to have seen the price action coming down in here and seeing what that looks like. No long setup as we currently stand, but we do also have this daily range that we want to be considering as well, which would look something like this. And again, I'll clean this up in just a second. We're going to have to refine these areas from a daily perspective. I would think something like this and something like this. So range ends like this on either end from the daily perspective. And you could see if you were looking at the rotation from the daily extremes, so from one area short to the next, potentially could have had a setup in there. But again, at least something that may have ticked the boxes for you if it was in alignment with your bias. I just don't know if I like the looks of wanting to play anything in cable as we currently stand. That's, I don't know, just kind of how I sit with this. If it just doesn't look clean to me, if we're not reacting off of the areas of interest in a nice clean manner, I get a lot less interest in the market that we're looking at. So, you know, something you guys want to consider. My sort of philosophy on this is like, if something is not screaming out at me as a really obvious point of play, I don't really want to go searching for an opportunity. And if the higher time frames are already looking a little messy in my eyes, then I don't know if there's anything that I would particularly want to force on this, especially from a, you know, maybe an intraday perspective. But, you know, we will see. We'll see how things go. Euro shorts would still be on, still be valid. I think I definitely would have trimmed stops to at least down to here. And again, continuing to watch how this plays ball. Right, dollar Canadian. Last time we spoke, let's have a look at what we were looking at. We would have had a long opportunity on here. And again, depending on how you would have managed this trade, you either would have taken a reduced loss or a full loss, depending on how you would have played this. The idea was very simple. We had an established range here in dollar Canadian. We then were tapping the low end of the range. And from an hourly chart, if I can actually focus in on what we were looking at, you can see we did have a reaction to the upside. The 5 minute, I think, actually gave us our entry. This is what we were looking at in here. And the entry that I would have pointed out would have been that candle close above the high, stops below the low. And I would argue, once you've got a clean break of this area, which we had on this candle here, you could be trimming your stops. I don't know if I would have mentioned that last time on stream. I can't remember where we logged off together. But that would have definitely been a potential for at least a minimal loss. You know, maybe you would have lost 2 or 3 pips as part of what you're doing here if you were trading this from a 5 minute specifically. And again, that's the very, very aggressive entry that you would have taken in here. I actually think we had this drawn up. We had, did I have this labeled? I didn't label it, but that was our specific area of interest that I think we would have taken in this area in here. So you can see we had our point of interest actually drawn up. Break of this, you can see it found some nice balance in that area before then absolutely collapsing and actually giving the short setup. But again, wasn't in alignment with the bias of what we spoke about. Therefore, we take off the radar for the time being. What is dollar Canadian looking like as we stand? Let me get this on the right chart. So from a monthly perspective, you can see we have an established range in here. Range end high, range low. We take this down to a daily and we refine the level. So it would look like that, and that's fine in there. Then from a weekly perspective, we have this range that I would argue we are stuck within. Here and here. You got a weekly range high, weekly range high. So again, we are testing bottom end of this weekly range. Could that provide you something now to, let me label these properly. Monthly, don't know if I already did this. Monthly, there we go. So for me, the overwhelming bias that starts catching my eye is rotation from the lower end of the range, the weekly range, up to the top end of the weekly range. And that's, you know, something that I would want to be considering kind of in this area. From a lower time frame, what we are looking at in here would be anything in this sort of region to get you long in alignment with the sort of trade that we are looking at here. Now, again, you could be conservative or you could be aggressive in how you want to play this. The conservative approach would be taking this range in here. This is the clearest structural area that kind of catches my eye. So again, we would label this swing longs above here. And then you've got the, if you wanted to take a 5 minute rotation, I would argue you would probably be looking at, I mean, we're coming into, this is Thursday last week, probably where you would have been getting involved. If we were saying coming into this new week, where would you be looking to take a trade from a 5-minute perspective? The most obvious area of price for me would come in here. It would look something like this. If we can clear this intraday longs, that would be the established zone that I would kind of want to be playing within. So again, you would be looking at the closes through this area in here. I would say stop down below this low in here, and then playing for that rotation back to the upper end of the range. So you would kind of still be sitting in this one. Again, intraday play, swing play, depending on how you want to play this. I think they're all potentially they're up for grabs. But there is definitely some room to take a position here on dollar Canadian. The swing play would look something like this, most likely. So you would want to be looking for a rotation like that. And yeah, we see how we play ball with dollar Canadian. We'll watch how this plays out over the space of the week, and we will refer back to this. Again, and I want to reiterate here, these are not signals. This is not financial advice. I'm just simply sharing a means of analysis to help get you on board with finding good logical areas in price. These could be a confluence. These could become the bread and butter of how you want to trade and build a bias and a narrative. It's completely up to you. But the best thing that I would honestly advise you would be to take something like this and back test it for yourself. Train your eye to spot them in the exact same way that I would be doing, right? The exact same way in which you're watching me do this day in and day out on the streams, looking back over the day's price action, drawing up the levels exactly in the way that you would, mapping out where you would want to be long, where you would want to be short. This is how you help to train the eye over time. So, you know, something that you definitely want to be considering and playing out in the long run. Matt says, how much back testing have you done? I am into the years of how I play this. I generally like using things like FX replay. I've actually heard TradeZella has quite a clean back testing feature as well. I'll be honest, I haven't played around with it myself as of yet, but I've had very, very good feedback that their back testing function works really, really well. But I like the general guideline that I give to most people when it comes to back testing is generally you want to think in hundreds and thousands rather than ones and tens. And you want to think about years and decades rather than days and weeks. So I think, you know, you kind of want to think about it in that regard. And it will kind of, you know, keep you, I think, thinking in a probabilistic manner. It's very easy when you don't look at things through a large enough sample size of both trades and time to really take things out of context. When you learn to apply both of those metrics, large sample size of trades and large sample size of time, it really helps you in the long run. TradeZella is awesome. I think you will love it second to none. I need to test out the back testing on there for sure. Like I said, I've heard a lot of people speak about it, just personally have not touched it myself. Jack says, can you see gold? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. And now I want to say, this has not been my favorite market to look at. I think it was last week we had Billy that was asking us to check gold. I think Billy is a diehard gold fan. I don't know if Billy's still on the stream. But we definitely had someone asking, please correct me if I'm wrong, it may not have been Billy, asking me to analyze gold last week. And I mentioned a couple of things here. Firstly, the price action, I'm not really a fan of in how we are just consolidating and the volatility is kind of dying in here. From a pure bread and butter of what I would be looking at, it's the play would seem very simple. You're looking for a rotation from the lower end of price up until the upper end of price, right? In terms of ranges. Now, The reason I am creating a little bit of a nuance here, specifically when it comes to gold, is because of the price action that we have had when we are starting to test the range. In that, we've established the range in here. We've come down, we've created a reaction of the high end of the range. Great, exactly what we want to see. Coming down, we've now reacted off the low end of the range. Great, exactly what we want to see. And we even had a sweep of an old low before this reaction. Now, the move back up didn't go on to test the upper end of the range, which shows some weakness from the bulls, right? If the bulls were really in control of this market, why weren't they able to carry the price from here back until, to testing the upper end of the weekly range? Again, I don't see the conviction from the bulls. Now, to add to that, we've come back down again. We've tested and created a very deep test of this area, which did provide a bounce, but the bounce could not even break the last lower high that we created, right? I wouldn't even argue that it was a deep test of that area of price. And then again, we created another lower high and we are continuing to press to the downside. Black and white, as per my strategy, it would be as simple as, if you're trading in the low end of a range, you find long positions to trade to the upper end of the range. And I'm not opposed to doing that. What I would have mentioned last week is that I want to see this swing get taken out or this swing get taken out before I consider taking long opportunities to the upside. Until either of those things happen, I would prefer to see the momentum continue to the downside and actually look for plays that get you in alignment with playing for these swings, these swing objectives to the downside. So that is what my current viewpoint would be on gold. But in all honesty, there's not a lot that I really like in here. You look at some of the other markets that we have been through today. Gold just doesn't seem as clean to me, right? It just looks like something that you would have to find a trade rather than have one jump out at you, at least from the time frame that I am operating on, right? If I was to take you guys down to, let's say, a 4-hour chart, and from a 4-hour chart, look at some intraday opportunities here in gold for a second. Let me hide this for just a second, just to clean things up. If we were to look at an intraday opportunity here with gold, and we're talking maybe like a scalp that we would be looking for here, the areas that would interest me in price, and we'll look at most recent areas of price. The obvious area that draws my eye is in this area in here, right? Why specifically this area? Now, again, this is not me calling out a trade that I really, really like the looks of. This is me getting very, very granular to show you that you can use similar zones, similar ways of drawing out these areas and ranges in price to find reaction points to get you in alignment with a potential move that you may be looking for, right? If I was to look at this now purely from a 5-minute chart, you can see we had a deep test here. We had tests in here, all to help get you in alignment with this specific move. Now, the move that I would be looking for here would be, I would argue, you could potentially take this move in here with a stop above this high if you wanted to really be aggressive. And I would argue you took an L on that occasion in there. The second potential move that you could have taken based off the exact same ideas would have been a short setup, probably in here with a stop above this high. And again, looking to take down to the next end of the range, which would have meant you probably would have ended the day break even here on gold. You would have had the one short setup in here, which stopped you out for a -1R. And then you would have had this trade, which got you in alignment with a move for a 1-to-1R, ending the day basically breaking even on this. And again, all we've done here is draw out a 4-hour map of what price is looking like and where it's potentially reacting from. And using that as your guides to find reactions in price going forward. Now, I will say, if you look at this from a daily chart, is there anything that really gives us some kind of confluence in playing this out. The range and area in price that catches my eye from a daily perspective, right? This is where you're framing your kind of intraday potential setups. I'm not the hugest fan of this, if I'm completely honest. If we took this down to an hourly chart, I just don't know. I don't like it, if I'm honest. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. It just doesn't look clean to me. And when it doesn't look clean, I just don't like trying to force a potential setup. What do we have? Just nothing that really catches my eye. I couldn't even force a trade in this if I wanted to. For me, the direction for me seems quite clear, right? I think momentum remains to the downside in gold. I think I would love to see price at least tag these levels, and whether they provide then a rotation to come back to the upside, whether they provide a means to continue to trade lower, I don't know. I couldn't tell you that yet. My crystal ball doesn't work that well. But to me, that seems like the most sensible objective, at least short term, for price. I just don't have anything to get me in alignment with that particular trade. So I'm kind of just flat in this market, if I'm completely honest. And that's where we currently stand as we are. So yeah, I mean, I know a lot of you are very much eager gold traders. I don't know. I don't see it, at least with current price action. I think there are some much cleaner markets to go through. I want to take you through some of the equity markets. I would love to see how these things played out, because I think we made some bold and ambitious calls going into them towards the end of last week. It would have been Wednesday when we last spoke. So I'm eager to see how those have kind of panned out. And again, I haven't touched these up in any way, shape, or form. These are what has been left on these charts from last week. Matt says, what confirmations and confluences do you generally consider? So Matt, I actually have a variety of things that I look at. I don't have like one specific, thing that I'm looking for. I like to, kind of like what you talked about here, I generally like to stack things on top of each other. And the more and more we get a confluence in those areas, the cleaner it is for me to kind of paint an idea of doing business in a specific area. I'll give you, I'll give you a good example. I actually took a loss, a small partial loss in a trade last week. This was on, I believe it was Thursday or Friday I took this. I'm going to flick back to it. It was a trade that I took in Euro. And I want to show you like what this looked like for me when I actually took this position. Now, let me try and do this on a blank chart, forex.com, because it will give you some perspective as to why I had this drawn up in the way that I did. Right, where are we at? This is actually not the nicest of charts that we had here. I wanted something with a little bit that shows us the kind of wick that I was playing from. Actually, you know what? Let me just show you on my actual chart, because I have this drawn up with Oanda. This is probably the easiest way to show you what this was looking like. So let me bar replay this out for you, and I'll show you, like, when I talk about building confluence in a specific area, this is what I kind of think about and map out in my head in real time. So first thing that I'm looking for here, you've got a weekly range upper end, which we have been stuck within and has provided a confluence in that area in and of itself, right? We also had this one, and again, these were all things that failed at the time, but things that I do want to consider as part of how this actually played out. I want to show how this mapped out. Give it a second. This test for me on this day was actually really important in terms of what happened here. I keep a bunch of statistics. Let me see if I can actually pull these up for you guys. Give me one sec. because it will help give you context as to how I map out a lot of my trading. 1 second, currency information, euro dollar. Okay, cool. Give me 1 sec. Let me flick over to this, share this tab instead. Okay, cool. So these are some statistics that I keep for euro dollar. The last time I did this, I essentially, I got actually ChatGPT to help me go through these and generate these probabilities. I gave it some very raw data to work with, and I got it to draw up the probability of what is likely to occur in price. And I think this will be an interesting perspective for you guys in terms of how I build confluence, how I use data, how I use it to help guide me in particular situations. And I think this will be a very interesting perspective, largely because it actually provided me with an entry signal, but it led to a loss. And I'm going to tell you why I didn't get mad, even though I took a loss on this instance. Okay. So this spreadsheet that I have drawn up, you can see is I have a collection of data that refers to specific things playing out in euro dollar. Now, specifically what I was looking for in euro was for euro to be bullish in the month of July. That was my narrative going into the month, but it played out in quite a low probability way. And what I mean by that is what I have here is a collection of 57 months worth of data. So going back a few years, and I'm using that as a guide to reference on a bullish month, on a bullish closing month, which we measured 57 of them, what percentage of the time did a low of the month occur? So if I was bullish on a particular month, the best possible entry that I could get is the low of the month, right? If the month is going to be bullish, capturing or identifying the low of the month gives me the best possible odds at aligning myself in that area to get in alignment with a specific move. Now you can see 23% of the time it occurs on the first, 5% of the time it occurs on the second, 14% of the time it occurs on the third, and so on and so on and so on. Now, what I have done is grouped these by specific days. So between the 1st and the 5th, if the month is going to be bullish, there is a 53% chance that the low of the month will occur between the 1st and the 5th. Between the 1st and the 10th, there's a 68% chance. And between the 1st and the 15th, there is an 86% chance that the low of the month has formed. Okay, keep these statistics in mind, especially this one. Between the 1st and the 15th, if we are going to have a bullish closing month, there is an 86% chance that the low has already formed during that time. Now, I want to take you back to my chart of euro dollar. Now, I want to separate here. I want to get my period separators up, and I want to show you just the month of July to show you what this was looking like. And I want to show you specifically what stood out to me as something which provided me with an idea to want to take a trade. Okay. Now, this idea came from the notion that I had a bullish perspective going into going into July. And a lot of that was built on the idea, if I take you to a monthly perspective, we are tapping into a lower end monthly range. We had failed a swing low going into that monthly level, and I wanted to see this month turn bullish. That was where the idea from the bias occurred. We created a low on the 1st, right? Which created actually a little bit of a swing point throughout this area of time, right? I'm hoping you guys can see this. We had this low of the month form, which was the 1st of July, which again, I take you back to for just a second, my statistics, which tell me that there's a 23% chance that on the 1st of the month, it's a good time for a potential low of the month to occur. I take you back to my data. I take you back to euro dollar. You could see that there is a low that occurred on the 1st. Cool, right? Now, on the 28th of July, right, we created a break below that 1st of July low, right? Which tells me one of two things. If Euro was going to close the month bullish, it is going to be one of those 14% of occasions where it has done so whilst creating a fresh low for the month. And this happened on the 28th of July. So I have to ask myself, if the month was going to be truly bullish, there is only a 14% likelihood that we have created this fresh low for the month. And now we are going to rally and close above the monthly open, which I have tagged in that specific area of price, right? So that's the first factor I want you to keep in mind. We're inside of a monthly range. We have an established weekly range inside of this. But statistically, we have now done something which tells me that either there's a 14% chance that this is going to be a bullish month, or it's very likely that we're actually going to have a bearish month. And my the outlook and bias that I had was incorrect. Now, fast forward a little bit, we had FOMC, we had the play out of FOMC, and we created a move, a very large move, which looked like this, right? Price closes the day up at the highs. And I talked about, and again, I think this is after we got off stream, what I wanted to see was how price reacted to this particular swing high in and of itself, right? This is a particular swing high that I'm looking at. We're now inside, statistically, with how price has moved, we're far more likely to close the month bearish rather than bullish. Again, only a 14% chance that this month is going to close bullish. Which tells me 86% chance that the likelihood is this is going to reject in this area and we're going to close the month down. Cool. We're also in a very reactionary area of price. We're inside that upper end weekly range, which, as you can see, there have been other tests of this area which have provided a really nice rejection. What I said coming into Friday was, if we get a sweep of this level, I would be interested in testing the waters to go short and see what price delivers. If I take you down to a lower time frame chart here, and I want to show you a couple other areas of confluence that I had. You can see this. I think this is probably still from the trade that I actually executed on. We came up, eventually when we do this, we swept the high right there. And I started to establish a potential short position after we swept this high. Two other factors that I had in my favor. If I take you on and throw on, I got a couple of indicators here. One of them is showing you the average daily range. One of them is showing you the average weekly range. So over the last 20 weeks and over the last 20 days of price, what is the average range that price has moved within that usually caps the high or low of the price movement for the day or for the week? And you could see we started to have an overlap in all of these areas. Average weekly range, average daily range, swing level, weekly area, statistical, like a play out of price here. We're starting to create a little bit of a narrative. Confluence is stacking on top of each other to support the idea of potentially going short here. Now, what ultimately ended up happening, I got short and I got stopped out swiftly after on a quarter of a position size. So I lost 0.5% of my account testing this short idea. And that was all she wrote. I was looking for a further breakdown. I was looking for some momentum to the downside to start adding to this trade. Didn't play out, didn't happen, took my small L and walked away. But I can walk away from these situations relatively content because I understand I'm doing something which statistically is giving me good probable odds of being on the right side of the market, right? I hope that makes sense. I hope that you can understand the factors and the variables that I am simply stacking one on top of another to try and build a good bias and a narrative to build a trade in that favor, right? So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Matt. And I hope, again, for everybody else that's kind of watching this play out, I understand this is probably like not the most exciting thing. You're not sitting here watching me like full port an account by any means, but I want you to understand like the logic behind what goes into a trade idea. I'm not just punting these ideas with nothing behind them. I would say 80, 90, maybe even all of the trades that I'm taking, I would like to say, I'm not a perfect individual by any means, so I don't think it's going to be all, but most of the trades that I am taking, they all have confluences that stack on top of each other, which just, they don't guarantee anything. They simply improve probability. That's all it is. They stack probability in your favor. Just like I showed you that there was only a 14% chance of euro actually closing bullish on the month, it did. It ended up closing bullish. I can't be mad about that because there's an 86% chance that what I was doing was actually correct. That's stacking probability on my favor. If you had to take two potential trades, one had only a 14% chance of winning and the other one had an 86% chance of winning, which trade are you taking? If anybody's sitting here saying the 14% one, we need to have a conversation about what we're doing in this game, because everything that we should be doing should be about stacking probability in our favor. The more and more we can start to do that, the better your outcomes are going to get, because you're no longer making decisions based on gut feelings, hopes, wishes, and desires. You're making decisions based on technical things which happen in the markets, right? The more and more you can do this from having your data to support what you're doing, the less emotional and impulsive you're going to be about these situations. I look back on this. Look, does it suck I took a loss? Of course. But I understand that I had loads of factors in my favor. And I trust that if I play this out over a much larger sample size of time, this will give me positive expectancy in the market. And that's all we can really focus on in the long run. We are absolutely technicians of probability. 100%. 100%. Aman says, hey Sanj, happy to see you for a long time ago. Do you remember me from the 1% Club? It's Amanullah. Great to see you, my friend. Nice to have you tune into the stream. Your voice gets me back to my first trading journey. Big fan of you. God bless you, brother. Have a very successful trading psychology because of your amazing psychology advice. Aman, that means a lot to me, my friend. Genuinely, like, to know that you've consumed my content in any way, shape, or form, whether it's streams, whether it's coaching calls inside of a community. I'm always super, super humbled to hear that it's had a positive impact on your journey. I appreciate you tuning in, my friend, and it's great to catch up with you. Matt says, side note, I'm writing a book on trading psychology for people with ADHD, depression, and anxiety. 20 pages in at the moment. Matt, that sounds awesome. Let me know once the book is done. I would love to support the cause. I will pick up a copy. I'm always looking to educate myself, read up on new things. And, if it's in a field that I love and I'm passionate about, I would love to check it out. So let me know once it drops. I would be super interested in having a read. Right. We got about 20 minutes left on stream. And I want to take you guys through some equities. I believe we mapped out a few things. Again, we only focus on these really from the higher time frames. But I would love to see how things have picked up, if our areas led to some profitable ideas, if we got spanked in others. Again, I like to keep this as transparent as possible. Usman says, hey Sanj, what is your win rate and any tips on building an edge? So specifically for my swing strategy, I generally sit at around 35%. This does vary depending on market conditions, but as an overall average, 35% is about my normal. During my periods of drawdown, that will be less than that. During periods where I'm in sync, I'll sometimes get a little bit closer to the 40, 45s. I've, boarded on the 50s on some occasion, but over a large part, 35% is generally where I sit. Any tips on helping you to build an edge? Collect data. Genuinely, best tip that I could give you. We're talking here specifically a strategic edge. Data is going to be your friend. I know there's a lot of people here that use things like Edgeful. Absolutely, like, phenomenal resource. Something that would have made life so much easier. I just shared with you guys, right? Like, I'll flick back to this so you guys can see. This was all stuff that back in the day, I used to do very, very manually. I used to go through and each day I would put a box in here to tick to say, yes, it's done it on this day. It's done it on this day. This is all data that I would collect to help build a comprehensive idea of how things are actually likely to play out over time. But you've got all these resources at your disposal in this day and age to help make life easier, to build that edge. And your edge is nothing more than a variety of criteria that helps align probability in your favor, right? You're looking for positive expectancy over a large sample size of trades. Not going to win every time. You're going to take losses. You're going to go through periods of drawdown. This is what probability is like. But having an edge in your favor means over a large sample size of time and trades, you have a specific set of criteria that gets you in and out of the market, that gives you positive expectancy. It allows you to make money in the long run. That's kind of my best advice. So collect data to support that idea. If you've got a specific pattern or entry model or a specific way of analyzing the market, show it, prove it with data. Show that over 500 tests of testing this specific way of drawing an order block or a fair value gap or a break of structure, more often than not, it's going to give me that edge. And that edge is going to pay me either because I'm right more than I'm wrong, or my winners are going to outweigh my losers. That's the only way you make money in this game, right? It always comes back to one of two things. If I can get this drawn up. Profitability being right more than wrong. Winners outweighing losers, right? This one is an edge in terms of your win rate. And this one is an edge in terms of your risk to reward. That's the game. The entire profitability matrix of trading summarized in 2 sentences. You're only going to make money 2 specific ways. You have to be right more than you're wrong whilst controlling risk, or your winners have to outweigh your losers. Winners outweighing losers. Yeah, that English works well. But that's it. That's your edge in a nutshell. Everything else is what works best for you as a person, right? What can you actually be consistent with? For some people, having a win rate of less than 50% is super damaging to your psychology. You're going to throw in the towel. You're going to start trading on tilt. You're going to do a whole bunch of things that are outside of your plan. It's not going to work well for you. For other people, you can have that win rate of less than 50%, but because you are consistent with stacking risk to reward in your favor, it's going to allow you to remain profitable. So keep this in mind, right? That's kind of my best advice for you. Backtest, collect as much data as possible, prove that your strategy actually makes money on paper. It's the first question that I ask every trader that I work with on a one-to-one basis. I always say the same thing. I'm going to put this in capital letters if I can actually tick my caps lock. How do you know you have an edge? This is the question I'm asking every trader when we are starting work together. How do you know you actually have an edge in the market? And what I want people to turn around and say is, well, I have this set of data that I've collected over the last 5 years, and it tells me that when I trade London sessions specifically, and I look for this break of structure with this thing and this fair value gap and this order block and this sweep of whatever, when the stars align in this particular way on the 5th of every month, it tells me that euro dollar is going to go up on this day, and I risk 5% of my account because I have that's the type of detail that I want you guys to have in your trading, right? I want you to be able to recall it and have so much belief and conviction because you have so much data and you've seen it play out time and time again. And that's how you know your edge works over time. It has been proven. That's what you want to build, right? That's what you want to do. Like I said, there's a variety of resources out there to help make things easier. TradeZella, use it for your journaling, use it for your back testing. Edgeful, use it for your data collection. Use it to amplify and prove that your edge actually exists in that favor. So, the more and more you can stack all these things on your side, the statistics I showed you, again, very manual, but they keep me on the right side of the market. Not every month. I just documented and show you guys a losing trade. But more often than not, if I follow those statistics, they will put me on the right side of where I'm going. And that's a very, very important part of stacking probability in my favor. So Usman, I hope that helps. Matt says it would be an honor to pop you a complimentary copy. Matt, honestly, not a need for it at all. I'm very humbled, but like I said, I'm happy to support people doing good work in the space. I'd be happy to buy a copy off you, my friend. Usman says, do you think it's better to adopt someone's proven an edge and do not try to reinvent the wheel? Thanks for such a detailed answer. So Usman, I'm going to answer this and then I'm going to carry on with the equities to close out the session, right? I think there's something to consider here. It's a great question. Here's something I want you to consider. I think about this. I call this a profitability, a matrix for finding profitability, right? When people think about becoming profitable in the markets, most people stop here. They focus on finding strategic edge. And this is exactly what you've asked, right? Do you think it's better to adopt someone else's proven edge and do not try and reinvent the wheel? To a degree, I think it could definitely speed up the process. If you've got someone that's delivering good information, if you've got someone that has actually a proven edge and you can go away and you could test it and verify it for yourself, not one of these, trust me, bro, it works. If you can go away and verify it for yourself, cool, right? I think it's going to be hard to come across because I think that there's a lot of people that maybe just get lucky over a short space of time and don't actually have a real edge in the market. And I think that's something that you want to consider, but strategic edge, one factor, right? Now, the other parts that most other people miss when it comes to actually finding profitability is, yes, you need a profitable strategy. Yes, you need something that works, but it's not the only factor that you want to be considering. You also want to consider, does this work? Let's just keep this short and sweet. Does this work for my personality? Am I the type of person that is going to be able to consistently apply this over time? Much like in the examples that I gave, if you're learning a proven edge, and let's say, like you asked me, I have a 35% win rate. If I taught you from start to end, this is the nuances of how I trade. This is exactly what I'm looking for. This is how I get in and out of the market. But it comes with a 35% win rate, which means every 600-700 trades out of 1,000, you're probably going to lose. Are you going to be able to stomach that? Are you going to be able to deal with it in the same way that I am? Maybe not, right? And so your personality is something that you want to consider. The third factor I would consider is lifestyle. Does the edge that you're looking to implement actually work in alignment with your lifestyle? Because if I'm sitting here and I'm saying, hey, you know what? This strategy, for you to learn this, it requires you being on a 5-minute chart, and you need to understand that you need to be present at the start of London session every single day. Otherwise, the edge doesn't really work. Well, if you're walking away from this and you live in Australia or you live somewhere in Asia where that time doesn't really work for you in terms of your lifestyle, what are we doing here, right? If I showed you a strategy, yes, you need to be on a 1-minute chart, you need to be trading the start of London Open, and you live in New York, where London actually starts in the middle of the night for you, are you getting up at 2-3 o'clock in the morning to potentially start trading? Is that compatible with your lifestyle? I would argue probably not. So I would say, like, finding profitability is an overlap of these 3 areas. You need a strategic edge, something that gives you data, something that's proven to work over time, and something that it's tested, right? You've got something that supports all of this. But once you have that strategic edge, you want to be asking yourself also, does it fit with my personality? Does it work in alignment with my lifestyle? Because I can promise you, you could have the best strategic edge out there. You could have, fucking ICT sitting on your shoulder and telling you where he thinks the market is going to go if that's someone that you look up to, right? You could have him sitting over your shoulder and telling you exactly where to get in and out of the market. But if you do not have the personality and the lifestyle to actually make it work for you, it doesn't work at all, right? So I always say the strategy has to work for you or it does not work at all. And if you are not on board with that idea, you're going to find yourself going in circles over and over again. This is why, like, when I went to swing trading, it was a very big shift for me. It's very slow. I don't think a lot of people find it fascinating because a lot of my analysis happens from the daily time frame, but it fit my personality and it fits in amongst my lifestyle. That's what allowed me to be consistent with it. It's not that my strategy is somewhat amazing. I told you it only wins 35% of the time on average, right? It's not that my strategy is superhuman and it creates this amazing analysis that allows me to get on board. No, I lose a lot of the time. But it works for me because my personality is okay with that and it fits around my lifestyle, which means I'm consistent in how I apply it. So yes, even though I do take a lot of losing trades, I manage my risk well. I showed you the example that I took in euro dollar. I took a quarter of a normal position size loss. And I don't tilt. I walk away. I get frustrated. Yes, of course it sucks. But walk away, live to fight another day, come back, do it all over again tomorrow. That's it. That's the game, right? Strategic edge, personality, lifestyle. That is what you want to be focusing on to find your path to profitability. Okay? Hope that answers your question. Matt says, I'm going to dip for dinner. Thank you for the session as always, Sanj. It's appreciated. I will spot you next time. Be safe, my man. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate you being here, my friend. We are going to be winding down in a few minutes anyway, so please enjoy your dinner. Right, last one that I want to take you guys through. I believe it was either NQ or ES that we made some calls in. And I want to see how they have panned out. So let's start off with NQ. I believe, and again, I need to start doing more annotations on these charts so that we have a context to what we are looking at here. But from memory, we talked about the idea, and I mentioned this, I believe, on stream, which was on this day here. This was Tuesday the 28th. I talked about the idea that I really wanted to see a swing long come off the back of this day. Now, granted, we did come down. We did create a much deeper test. Maybe you would have taken a loss if you had positioned yourself long on that day. But again, I've had these drawn up since last week. I have not touched these in any way, shape, or form. Look at the monthly ranges that we are keying off of here. It didn't give you a pit perfect reaction. I will be the first one to say it. But in terms of an area to do business, to form a bias, to come from one end of the range to potentially target the opposite end of the range, does this give you a specific area of price to find that rotation? 100%. Now, if we drop down a time frame, was there anything for us to actually participate in and get on board to actually take the long? We drew out two zones, which we have mapped up, we have mapped in here. I'll talk about the swing longs in a second, but there is a gray shaded area in here. A green shaded area from a lower time frame that I spoke about. And I believe, I'm hoping I actually annotated this. Did I, why is this so extended out? Give me 1 second. Oh, this is just becoming a real mess. Right, give me 1 sec. Let's do this on an hourly chart. Here we go. Right, I'm going to try and not move this level. I've got it all mapped out for you. This is what we spoke about the last time we spoke. We had this area of price in here, which said day trade long above here. You can see how it panned out, which was this would have been your day trade. So a close above this area, which you would have got on this candle here. Longs above here. You could have aggressive stop there, conservative a little bit below here, and you would target upside. Again, if you wanted the real, we would have been looking at a real rotation in price here, but gave you enough to give you a 1 to 1.45 before a potential reversal lower. Definitely enough to scale stops, definitely enough to take partials, depending on how you trade. But that was the first call that we made in NQ last week, right? Intraday over here gave you some move to the upside. The swing long that I actually had painted out here, you can see that the initial test did not give us a close through our specific area. The first close that we had was here. You would then be taking a swing trade from here down, stop below that low in there, but we would be looking for a big, long monthly rotation in price, which would give us an upside target of this area in here, I believe. We would be looking at 30, we'd be looking at something like this. That would be our trade. Swing trade to the upside. So 2.7R. Oops. Definitely be some room to scale stops. If I could stop moving that out of the way. Scale stop. Oh my goodness. Right. Where is my cursor? There we go. Scale stops to, I would argue, below these lows. We're starting to create some fresh legs to the upside. Potentially adding into this trade if you wanted movement to the upside. But there's definitely some room for a swing rotation long in here. And definitely gave us some good analysis to actually get on board with this. So yeah, again, very simple, objective way to get in alignment with price for a potential swing or intraday perspective. And I mean, look, we've mapped out a whole bunch of scenarios here, from currency pairs to equities to commodities. We've showed some examples where we make money, some examples where we lose money. And that's the name of the game, right? That's all we have to focus on for specifically today. We're going to leave the charts where they are for the time being. I want to say a couple of things before we wind down today's stream. First and foremost, right, I think big takeaway from what we have covered today, I want it to all really be centered around the idea that like wins and losses are incredibly normal in this game. And I want these to be normalized in these sorts of sessions, right? I have shown you the same kind of analysis for going on, I think 2 weeks we've been doing this now, maybe into our third week. And I want you guys to see that sometimes it provides fantastic pinpoint entries, sometimes gets absolutely spanked. And that's what you want to keep in mind, right? Everything that we are showing here, they're not signals, they're not trade advice, it's not financial advice, but it's providing you a very simplistic way to look at the markets, to create and map out reactionary areas in price so that you guys can start testing out and getting on board with this, so that you can start actually, creating your own trade plan. And as we mapped out, right, as I answered in the earlier session, I do not want this to be a session where you simply try and copy and paste my strategy. If you want to take it away, if you want to start to apply it in the way that you do it, by all means, right? That's exactly what I want from this. But again, it has to fit that criteria of what we've been looking at: the strategic edge, the personality, and the lifestyle. If it's not ticking all three boxes, it's going to be very, very difficult for you guys to find consistency in what you're looking for. And I think that's what a lot of people are generally missing in the grand scheme of things. Okay. That is a wrap for today. It's everything that we have in store for you guys here on Chart Fanatics. I am your last host for the day today. I hope you guys have had a value-packed day from everybody that we've had streaming here today. Hoping you guys have been taking some notes, testing things out on your end. That's the only way you're really going to improve, right? And for those of you watching that kind of sit in the background, I would highly encourage getting involved, getting active, asking those questions. I hope you can see, like, from some of the depth that we've gone into, not just in analyzing the charts, but answering the questions. We are doing our absolute best to provide the utmost value to every single one of you guys here today. So if it's a means of improving, if it's a means of, just connecting and not being alone and doing this journey by yourself, I'm hoping it's providing you guys some incredible value as part of everything that you're doing. Okay. That is a wrap for today. I will see you guys again, same time tomorrow from my end. I hope you have an amazing rest of the day, and I will speak to you in the next one. Take care, guys.